Perfecto. All right, guys. Let me make sure that we are actually live here. Looks like we are. Let me make sure my hashtag pull up studio is good to go. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. Looks like we're. There we go. Yeah. All right. Looks like we're live. We got all 5 of you guys watching today. Okay, very good. All right, guys. Welcome to the free consultation Sundays. We are live, of course, on both YouTube and Rumble. If this thing takes off, I'll definitely expand it. That's for sure. So the link is in the chat. If you guys have any dating and/or relationship questions, some combination of both, go ahead and hashtag pull up. I've got the link in the description. There it is. I've got it there. Let's put it in Rumble. All right. Okay, good stuff. So Dana Gonzalez says, sorry I missed a live, but not tonight. Nope. Yep. You don't have to, no need to apologize for missing a live stream. It's been a very, very busy weekend for your boy. That's for sure. I'm in the middle of turning one of our bedrooms into Devon's new office. Of course, as you guys know, Devon has successfully started her own business. What started off as a side hustle has now become a full grown functioning business. Landed a 6-figure deal with a client, and with her very first client. And word on the street is that she's got another one. That she is about to sign. So Devon is moving along. See the wave. Good to see you in here. So rather than you guys just sitting around and listening to me prattle on and on and on. There we are. So rather than listen to me prattle on and on and on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of last week's. I'm actually going to react to last week's. I'm just going to have it playing. Yes, yeah. Looks like Devon is good to go in the chat. Yeah, for whatever reason, it kept putting her in here as Donovan Sharpe or something like that. But so this is what you guys can expect. When you are on a consultation call with me. Of course, my hair is raggedy today. I have not gotten a chance to. You guys know the hairline is normally clean, but when it's not clean, I cover it up. That's just how that's just how I roll. But don't worry, I'll be right as rain. I'll be right as rain the very next day. Okay, it looks like we've already got. All right. Okay, very good. Looks like we've already got someone. And Gabe, you don't have to be on camera. Can you hear me, Gabe?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello? Gabe, are you there? Okay, Gabe, I'm going to remove you until you get your audio stuff taken care of. I could hear you, Gabe. I could hear you. I don't know if you could hear me. But look, hopefully. I guess that's the challenge with these things. Sometimes it's being able to get through. Let me try one more time here.
I can hear you, Gabe.
All right, Gabe. Now I have double. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
I can hear you, Donovan.
There we go. There you go. Now you can hear and see me. Okay. My stupid ass Gabe. I had myself muted, and I'm like, oh, can you hear me? So can you hear me? Okay, Gabe.
Yes, I can hear you, Donovan.
Good stuff. Where are you calling us from, Gabe?
I am calling from Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, California. Okay. So what's on your mind, man?
Well, I need some womanese translation. I just recently met this cute chick at school who I think may be lying to me about having a boyfriend
Okay.
and is also acting a little too flirty towards me. And it's hard for men with autism or on the autism spectrum or whatever buzzword they use nowadays
Sure.
to interpret, a girl's like behavior or whatever. So unlike when I was younger, I would have been dumb enough to naively like let a girl lead me on.
Okay.
I don't know what to do in my situation. Basically, how to deal with, like, say, a girl who I don't know for sure whether or not this girl does in fact have a boyfriend.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you
But
what.
whether or not, yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Go
Gabe.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I'll
okay.
mute.
No, this no. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen.
Yes, yes.
Take it from the top. How did you meet? Where did you meet? Just take it from the beginning. How you met this girl?
Met her at school, waiting for a class, and I can't remember which class it was for.
Okay.
I have a hard time keeping track of like those sort of details, but I do remember meeting like when I was on my way to a class and small talk, this, that, the other.
Okay.
We're been talking for a few weeks, and every time I see her, she just will act more and more flirty towards me. Obviously, by my screenshot, you could tell that I'm far from like, top G status.
Don't worry about it, man. We've all been there.
Yeah, I'm far from that. I mean, I feel like this girl's too good to be true, because pretty much any other like hot chick at school that's out of my league, like I think I could tell more like when a girl doesn't like me,
Okay.
like compared to like, say, if a girl like, if it's hard for me to tell if like a girl's acting flirty and
Okay.
whether or not she actually genuinely likes me or not, or
Okay.
if she has a boyfriend, she's being shady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, well, first of all, let me ask this question. How old are you and how old is she?
I'm in my 30s, and to my memory, I think she may have told me that she's about 21.
Okay, so so you're in your 30s. She's obviously in her early 20s. Now you said you met her in class. You don't have to give away too much proprietary information, but how long have you known her? How long have you liked her? How long have you had a crush on her?
Well, I met her while I was on my way to a class.
Okay.
I think I may have said that, but what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry. My
okay.
TikTok brain's out of control right now.
That's quite all right. How long have you had a crush on her? How long have you liked her?
I'd say maybe about a month, which is about as long as I've known her.
Okay. So you haven't known her for very long. Now, have you actually spoken? Now, you said she gets flirty. What kind of things does she say or do that you would constitute as flirty? Just give me an example.
Well, like, say if we pass each other by or whatever, like when I see her around and she'll be like, hello again or whatever,
Okay.
like any, hot white girl would say, basically.
Right. Okay. See, listen, man, you're probably not as ignorant of this stuff as you might think you are, because you're right. The typical hot white girl, hello there, hi there again, or hey, you, girls, obviously, Gabe, they know those buzzwords to make you sort of think that they might be interested, right? And so when she says hello again, what she really wants you to think is that, oh, hello again, meaning, oh, you remembered me, right? Now, have you actually had a conversation with her, or do you guys just see each other in passing?
It's a bit of both, leaning actually more towards us actually making small talk.
Okay. And what kind of small talk do you guys have?
Well, for instance, here's the part that really gets to me is that even though I live in SoCal and I spent 17 years of my life trying to get out of Northern California, where I'm originally
Mm-hmm.
from, I was born and raised in the feminist capital of the world,
Oh
San
boy. Oh
Francisco.
wow. Yep.
I
Yep.
unfortunately have ran into a great number of transfer students at my school that are all from the Bay Area. And I mean, California in general is notorious for, a whole lot of feminists, but the feminists in SoCal, I feel, are different
Okay.
than, say, the feminists in Northern California, where I'm from.
Okay.
So we'll talk about, like, say, like, back home, quote unquote, if
Okay.
that makes any
No, that makes
sense.
sense. Makes perfect sense. You guys, obviously, you guys are, connecting, you guys are connecting through something you guys both have in common. Now, you said you wanted to sort of translate the womanese. What exactly is she saying to you that you're having trouble deciphering in terms of what she really means?
Basically, just what I'm interpreting as flirty and overly friendly, like when I see her, more than, say, any other hot white girl that I see at school that, like, will stick their nose up at me.
Okay.
Like, for example, like, if I'm standing in line, to, I don't know, uh, say, buy a coffee or whatever,
Okay.
or whatever, and I'm like, it's like the crappy No Scrubs song, I don't want no scrubs,
Yes,
blah, blah,
TLC.
blah.
Right, right.
I'm throwing myself under the bus big time when I admit this publicly,
Hey,
but
that's all right,
that's kind
man.
of what it's like compared to this girl that actually I just feel is giving me a lot more attention than what I'm used to.
Okay, okay. And so you're used to pretty girls not giving you as much attention as this girl. How many times do you see her per day, approximately? Do you see her every day, every other day? Is it 2, 3 times a day?
I would say it has to be maybe every other day, like during the week. Um, Mind you, I mean, she, from my understanding, is not from around here.
Okay.
So from SoCal, that is. So it's hard for me to tell, like, what's up with her, like, when I
Sure.
don't see her.
Right. Well, right. Obviously. Now, I'm assuming you guys haven't exchanged phone numbers, have you?
No.
Okay. Why not? This is a trick question, actually. Why haven't you guys exchanged phone numbers yet?
So this is going to be me again throwing myself under the bus.
Okay.
This is the beta that's coming out,
And listen, I
although
want you to know
I
something.
tend to,
Listen, Gabe, I want you to
yeah,
know.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, no, that's okay. We are not, like, I am not here to judge you. I'm not going to say, oh my God, you're such a beta. You should have. No. Because I have, dude, trust me. I don't know how long you've been following me for, but dude, the stories that I have told about my failures with women, I guarantee you is worse than anything that you have ever been through. And listen, Gabe, I rented a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for a woman I had never had sex with while she was sleeping with the baby daddy. Okay. The lease was in my name, the electricity, the cable, everything was in my name. I did this for this woman. Okay. And the reason why she targeted me is because her ex-con baby daddy was getting out of prison. She didn't have the credit or the money to get a place. And so Captain Savaho, that's me, actually rented it to, actually did it for her. I had no idea that she was going to be fucking the baby daddy in the house that I rented, but that's what ended up happening. It is the worst situation that you can ever think of. So I can promise you, Gabe, anything you tell me about this situation, no one here is going to judge you. The reason why you've called in is because you want honest, upfront advice. You're not going to get any judgment here, so don't worry about it.
So again, I appreciate all that and
Okay.
sharing your experiences and whatnot. Um, yeah, but I think to answer your question, I think it is a combination of the fear of rejection, and two, even if I do get like a phone number or an Instagram or whatever social media, I'm just fearful of the rejection, ghosting, and or whether or not, like, my worst fear that she does in fact have a boyfriend actually come true.
Okay. Okay.
And whatever complications that come with that,
Okay.
basically.
No, that makes perfect sense. So what makes you think she might have a boyfriend?
honestly, anytime I have ran into like girls that are way nicer to me
Hmm.
than I expect them to, they always end up having a boyfriend already
Okay.
and end up playing the well, I was just being nice womanese like
Gotcha.
crap on me or whatever later on, or saying, oh well, I only ever saw you as just a friend, blah 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 blah,
Okay.
all that good stuff. um yeah, just compared to, like I was saying earlier, the other, like, hot white girls or whatever that are more upfront or whatever,
Yeah.
like I actually respect them more than the ones that give me
Yeah, that
too
leads
much
you on.
attention.
Yeah, yeah, the ones that lead you on. So you're thinking that. So you're thinking. So just to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, you're like, okay, this girl you think is out of your league, who is beautiful and pretty, and obviously she looks good. She is giving you more attention. She's giving you more attention than you're used to from girls that normally look like that. Is that accurate?
I would say so.
Okay, very good. So talk to me about the conversations that the two of you have.
The last couple ones I can remember were actually compliments about, I think, my personality and or like that I communicate like so good or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or they like how I talk, or they like look, or she looks up to me in some manner or capacity,
Okay. And what
or
and what makes you think that? What makes you think that this girl looks up to you in some capacity?
I honestly don't know if I can answer that question because I
Okay.
don't think I can speak for her.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back to the you thinking that she might have a boyfriend. Has she done or said anything that makes you think she might have a boyfriend?
Uh, no.
Okay, so you're just assuming that because she looks so and listen, this is probably a fair assumption. Most super hot, super pretty girls are almost always in a relationship of some sort. Now, I want you to understand something, Gabe. Uh, there are a lot more girls that we're probably aware of that are not in a quote unquote relationship, right? So even though she might not have a boyfriend per se, she might actually be sleeping with someone else. Now, obviously, when you get deeper into conversations, you'll figure some of that stuff out. So talk to me about the womanese. Talk to me about the things that you need me to sort of translate and decipher. What has she said to you? What are the things that she has said to you that you don't clearly understand?
Just her behavior of how she just acts like way too nice than what, like, I'm used to. And it may be me having like quote unquote insecurities that all the feminists that like talk crap back and forth to you about, oh, men are so insecure, 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 that I'm not used to that type of attention, because the last time I ever had this type of attention was right before the pandemic.
Ah, gotcha.
And then the pandemic ended up happening, and then yeah, then the ghosting happened or whatever, but that was a different situation because I wasn't living in SoCal at the time.
Okay.
So yeah, it was obviously a different situation, but that girl was on the same level of being an 8 out of 10, just like this chick, but like that chick back then had asked for my Snapchat like before, like I asked her, like within the first 10 minutes of us talking to each other.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's rewind here. How many girls have you fucked? How many relationships have you been in? Have you ever had a girlfriend? Have you ever been married? Had a wife, girlfriend, situationship?
I would say I've had some situationships, but never been married.
Okay. All right. Very good. So you've never been married. Have you been in a committed relationship with another woman, or has it just been situationships your whole life?
Just situationships,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay. Very good. So what do you hope to accomplish? What do you hope to accomplish with this particular girl?
I won't see. There's a part of me that feels like I want to take a step back and be like, nope, I'd rather like walk away before, like, to avoid, any like hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's like the egotistical like part of me that's kind of, I would say, mm, that kind of contradicts, me, labeling myself as a nice guy that says, no, screw that. I'd rather take the chance
Okay.
and whatnot. So
Okay.
it's like, but I've done that so many times before where I'll take that huge gamble and then I don't want to say tragedy happens, but then disappointment
Okay.
happens.
All right. Yeah. Fear of rejection, Gabe. It is a real thing. And I want
I've
you to
become more resilient to it lately. Sorry to
go. No, no,
interrupt.
no. Keep going. And why have you become more resilient to it lately? Because this is actually a good thing.
I think it's partially because, and it's not just you, it's a whole bunch of other like observations that I've tried to make on my own
Okay.
of paying attention to behaviors and words more than, whatever, else that comes along that's more surface level. Actually trying to pay attention to the little things like, say like the examples that you'll bring up, like, oh, if a girl is like, saying, oh, you're such a nice guy, but
Mm-hmm.
then the bad girl comes up and says, yeah, I'm not gonna
Yes.
do you know what with you.
Right. Right.
That's an example that I will try to look into.
Okay.
And that's hard for somebody like me that is naive. Again, I mean, yeah, autism's not an excuse or whatever. Some
Yes, but it
people
is a
say, well,
factor. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
it is a factor.
if you're on the
Yes.
spectrum, yeah,
I
yeah, and that's
appreciate
nobody's
your
fault. Yeah.
honesty.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. Yeah, the reason why, and it's interesting that you bring up, and I've got Apollo next, Brian or Byron, you're right after that, so I'll get to you guys here shortly. The thing about the fear of rejection, Gabe, is when you overcome your fear of rejection, it is quite literally like a superpower. The difference between men who are routinely successful with women and men who routinely are not, the men who are, and no one is impervious to rejection. Rejection stings. Rejection stings on some level to some degree, no matter how many times you've been through it. But the difference between success and non-success is allowing that rejection to keep you from approaching. So let me take you through. Let's take you through. This girl that you like. What is the worst case scenario in your mind? Just take me through step by step. What is the worst, most embarrassing situation you can think of, hypothetically speaking, with this girl?
I think just I think the easy answer would be getting rejected, period. I
Okay.
think the more complicated answer would be if, in fact, she is single and does, in fact, want to, like, hook up in some capacity, that
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be some thing about her that's going to be too good to be true. And I'm just going to get all kinds of frustrated. I'm going to
Okay.
be like, nope, sorry,
Okay.
back to the street you go.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, man. Honestly, man, it sounds to me like you just need to go for it, man. Yeah, listen, and I mean, people have famously said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But if, let's just say you shoot your shot at this girl, hey, let me, here, you seem cool. Let's hang out sometime. And you hand her your phone. Okay, here, put your number in my phone. We'll hang out sometime. What do you think is the worst case scenario there? That she says no, or that she takes your phone and rejects you? Is that kind of what you're afraid of?
I would say the latter, in the sense that, okay, yeah, I'll get the number, but then like it'll be like, maybe say out of pity, just to boost her ego, like, oh yeah, I'm just giving this, Joe Schmo my number, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna do anything or
Okay.
whatever. So
Okay.
that to me is just as bad of a rejection, because I'd rather be told straight up no, period, which has
Right.
happened on a few occasions,
Which is
rather
actually
than being
good.
given the number and then like feel like I'm being led on.
Right. Right. Here's the thing. So now we've got. I'm gonna paint you two scenarios here. Okay. Let's say you don't. Let's just say that you never ever ask her for her number. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's say that you do. Okay. Which scenario is going to be more likely for success? You asking her for her number or you never asking her for her number?
If we were having this conversation a few years ago, I would say never. But now I would say getting the number to begin with, because at least I tried. If that
is
makes sense.
That's 100% correct. And one thing you're going to have to do, and you mentioned a very, very big word, the big word, and all guys have this, it is ego. If you want to become better with women, if you want to have more options with girls, you're going to have to have an ego death. Having an ego death is synonymous with overcoming your fear of rejection. Okay. So my advice to you, Gabe, is, and here's the thing, you guys don't have any classes together, do you? You guys just see each other in passing?
Well, yeah, just seeing each other in passing.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, Gabe, my advice to you is just to strike up a conversation with her. And, when you feel like the time is right, man, and listen, this is the quickest and easiest way to gauge a girl's interest. Okay. Middle or end of your conversation, you kind of look at her and say, you know what? You seem pretty cool. Here, put your number in my phone. We'll hang out. Don't ask her for her number. Don't say, hey, would you no, here, put your number in. We'll hang out sometime. And hand your phone to her so that she can put her number in your phone. The worst she can say, Gabe, is no. But guess what? If she says no, guess what? The sun rises the next day and you're one step closer to overcoming approach and rejection anxiety. The point is that she might not, and the thing is this, you say that she's out of her league simply because she looks good. I want you to understand, Gabe, that there are far more good-looking women than there are guys like you, okay? You have to understand that you're the commodity, okay? Listen, there's pretty girls everywhere, okay? But there are not a lot of guys who call into a show looking to get advice on how to approach or number close a woman that he likes, okay? So you have already taken step one. But here's the thing, and I want you to understand this. What you have to be is you have to become outcome independent. In other words, when you decide to hand her your phone and say, hey, we should hang out sometime, put your number in, don't be dependent upon the outcome. Don't let it make your day. Don't let it ruin your day. If she gives you her number, great. If she doesn't, great. Okay? But I'll tell you something else too. If you continue to have these conversations with her and you never squeeze the trigger and never ask her for her phone number, this is going to be torture. Because day after day, you're going to be thinking to yourself, man, I wonder if I should ask today. I wonder if I should ask today. And there's a famous saying that as a matter of fact, there's a famous saying that a lot of hoes use, but it actually works for men. It is better to regret something you did than something you did not do, okay? You are going to feel far more regret if you never actually shoot your shot at this girl than if you shoot your shot at this girl and she shoots you down. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly, because it reminds me of my favorite Beach Boys song that basically talks about what you just said.
Okay. Yeah. Listen. At this point, to be quite honest with you, Gabe, you're obviously a well-spoken dude, right? And if you're well-spoken and you've told me that girls have told you that they like your personality, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I know you're probably not the best at picking up on social cues, but you have picked up on enough social cues to maybe think that this girl could possibly be interested in you. But make sure you do not do this, Gabe. Do not allow her to use you as an emotional tampon. If you get your phone number, if she gives you her phone number, you need to be direct. Okay. And I know this is like drinking through a fire hose right now. And I know that the idea of this probably terrifies you, but I'm going to tell you something, Gabe. I'm going to tell you something. There is no greater feeling, win or lose, man. And I'm being dead ass here. There is no greater feeling in the world than shooting your shot to a girl. Whether you are successful or not, there's nothing like the rush that comes with the success or the failure, because you're doing what 95% of guys are unable to do. Do you want to know what percentage of guys actually approach pretty girls and say, hey, put your number in my phone, we should hang out? Yeah, it's pretty minuscule. And so you're going to be separating yourself from all of the, Gabe, and here's the thing, Gabe, Do you honestly believe that you're the only guy at that school who has a crush on her? You don't think that there are 8, 9, 10, 11 guys who probably have the same experience as you do, who are probably thinking the same thing? And guess how many of those 8, 9, 10, 11 guys are going to be as direct as you will be? Hand her your phone and tell her to tell her to put her number in. None of them, except for you. And you might think that you might not be a looker, but I'm telling you right now, girls respect boldness. They respect guys who put their balls on the fucking line and fucking go for it, rather than just being timid. And because trust me, here's the thing, Gabe. She knows you like her, okay? She's hot. She knows that you like her. She knows that most guys that talk to her probably want to fuck her. That's neither good nor bad. It just is. But if you are one of the small percentage of guys who actually says, "Here, put your number in my phone. We'll hang out sometime." Dude, win, lose, or draw, whether she likes you or not, she will respect you. She will respect you and she'll respect that. And a lot of times, girls will say, "You know what? This guy is normally not my type, but I like his boldness and his brashness. Guys don't approach me like this and ask me for a phone number like that. Yeah, I'll put my number in his phone," and then you go from there. So my advice to you, Gabe, is the next time you talk to her, just fucking go for it and be outcome independent. Don't let it make your day. Don't let it ruin your day.
I appreciate everything, and I'll take everything into consideration, and wish me luck with everything.
Excellent. Listen, keep us updated, man. Keep us updated. Next Sunday, I want to know how it went, all right?
Well, I'm going to be on spring break this week, so I'm not probably going to be seeing her. So,
okay.
But I will be going out, though.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, the next time you call in, I would like to get an update.
All right. I will definitely keep that in mind. Thank you for the advice and everything and all the compliments and all that good stuff. And yeah, I look forward to any future conversations. Thank you, then.
Absolutely. That was Gabe in Long Beach. Yeah, man, listen, it takes a lot of balls to call in and, and say, "Hey, look, there's this girl I like and I'm kind of afraid to approach her." No problem, man. No problem. We all, look, I'm telling you right now, we have all been in those situations. If you are a man, if you have a cock and balls, there has been a girl that you have a crush on that you are scared to death to approach. But I'm telling you, if you just grab your nuts, if for 10 seconds, just go for it. I promise you, whether you get her number or not, guys, it's almost like an adrenaline, dopamine-filled rush. Even if she shoots you down, "I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend," you're walking away, you're like, "Holy fucking shit, I actually just asked that girl for her phone number." Then you ask yourself, how many guys have asked her for her phone number like that? Guys just don't ask girls for phone numbers anymore, man. And Gabe, if you're still watching, if you're the one guy, if you're the one, and you guys got to understand, super hot, super attractive women, they're not used to guys approaching them like that. They're used to guys making small talk, talking about the weather, what movies do, knowing full well that the only reason they're talking to her is because they like her. Okay? Pretty girls, I'm telling you guys, pretty girls right now are begging men to be direct. They are begging you, "Approach me, ask for my phone number." Even if you don't think, and here's the thing, guys, even if you don't think you're her type, it does not matter. Okay, you're a man. And as men, the one advantage that we have over women is even if you're not a girl's regular physical type, you still have a chance with her. You absolutely still have a chance with her. Dude, there are pretty girls that are dating guys who are not lookers who they thought was out of their... Doesn't matter. Well, what do you like about him? Well, he approached me at a bar, or, I saw him in class and, he's really not the type of guy that I normally go for, but he just walked up to me after class and just said, "Hey, put your number in my phone, we'll hang out." And I was actually kind of impressed by that. And I'm glad I gave him a chance because now I'm with a man that I can respect and love, even though he's not a Justin Waller or whatever the case may be. I actually respect his boldness. All right, let's go to our next caller. Oh, this is my man right here, Apollo in Pittsburgh. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Don. What's going on, man?
Not too much, brother. I am, listen, got a lot going on, building Devin's office and all that good stuff. So what's on your mind, man?
Just listening in and, like you were telling Gabe about, failures with women. Like you said, you have colossal ones. I have colossal ones. We
Absolutely.
all do, I told you before, but other people, whereas, a girl I was going out with, really liked her. First date, brought her flowers and a teddy bear.
Oh, wow. Yep. We've all been there, brother. We've all been there.
And then even with that, we're going out, we're doing stuff. I take her to a musical on her birthday. I hate musicals.
Right.
But, try to impress her. Even I wrote and all the while she's telling me, I want to take things slow, get to know you, all this stuff.
Yep.
I wrote a letter pouring out my feelings to her, put it in her mailbox, and then I proceeded to lock the keys in my car while still running.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. That is unbelievable.
Thank God she never came out. So I had to wait for AAA to come and lock my car while I'm sitting out there like sweating buckets. Like, if she comes out here.
That's awesome.
I put a letter in her mailbox, pouring out feelings, and then gets the letter, proceeds like, it's nice and all, but, I'm not feeling this right now. And then I come to find out she's sleeping with my neighbor's roommate the whole time while I'm taking her out on dates.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, dude. Jesus Christ. So how did you find out?
It was actually, I saw my neighbor, he lives a couple houses down from where I live.
Okay.
And, hey, are you talking to, I won't say her name, but you talking to so-and-so? Like, yeah. I was like, how do you know? It was like, because she's hooking up with my roommate.
Oh, my God. Jesus freaking Christ. So what did you do after that?
I just, was like, okay. Didn't do anything, didn't call, and this one we had pager, so I didn't page her or anymore. And the crazy thing, and I didn't know at the time, is because I just stopped all communication. All of a sudden, she's calling me like, "Hey, what are you up to? I haven't heard from you."
Of course. Of course.
This stuff.
Incredible. And, the lesson that can be gleaned from that, other than the obvious, Apollo, is that it's a tenet that we talk about in this space all the time. With modern women, the more attention you give them, the less attention they give you. Then the less attention you give them, the more attention they give you. Right? It's just unbelievable. You went to all this trouble, left a letter in her mailbox, taking her out on dates, this and that and the third, find out she's fucking somebody else. You ghost her, and now she comes back asking what you're up to. Did anything come of that after that?
No, because I was just too mad, and I didn't know enough at the time to rectify into my favor. That was still in the blue pill stages and whatnot. So it was just like, forget her, F her and all this stuff. But, now obviously I know different. I would not do those things. Like you had said, renting a house for,
oh God, Carla.
We all have those, Another one was a girl, I had met, and we were just hooking up, having sex. And and this is still my blue pill days, but I was like, this is great. But after hooking up with her a few times, I think like, okay, maybe there could be something more. I take flowers to her house or to her apartment. She wasn't home, so I leave them outside the door thinking like, you'll see the grand gesture.
Right.
And so she never says anything about it. Then one day I asked, she was like, yeah, I got them. And then never talked to me again.
Oh, wow. Do you see that? This is Apollo. This is why we tell. And again, it shouldn't be this way, but this is the way it is. This is why you don't bring a bitch flowers. You you cannot never treat a woman like a lady. Here's the thing, man. And I think we can probably all identify with this. If you have enough experience with women, sexually, you pick up very, very quickly whether or not they're a lady or a slut. If you treat a slut like a lady, she will punish you. Okay? She will punish you. And it's funny, they do it inadvertently, Apollo. They don't realize what they're doing or why they're doing it. But the reason why she never talked to you again after you gave her those flowers is because she saw that as a weakness. It's crazy.
Yeah. We learn the lessons the hard way, and those are things that obviously I've never forgotten and used as, a way to, okay, I'm not going to make those mistakes again and things differently. And then the funny thing is that ever since I got divorced, been dating, as you know, my journey with ladies doing casual.
Oh, yes.
Other side. I've been the guy that they're sleeping with while they're going out on dates with other guys.
There you go.
Going to wait, but yet they're in my bed after a night at dinner with them. Or ladies talking about, like I had one that I talked to you about. He was like, we've been seeing each other for a year. You've never complimented me once. And I'm like, but you're still seeing me. Right.
Exactly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Before I let you go, Apollo, there was a story about a woman that you were seeing, and I remember you told me, and I won't mention her name unless you want to. But tell my audience the story about the white girl who you were messing with. Her name starts with a K. All right. And everything was hunky dory until you made one fatal mistake. Go.
Yeah, so Katie, because it's an ordinary name, nobody's going to exactly know.
Of course,
And,
of course.
Yeah, seeing her casually for a year, telling her I'm seeing other women and all of this stuff. And, she wanted a relationship, but knew I didn't want it. So everything's going along great. And I'm thinking, like, this is fantastic. After a year goes by, I decided, you know what? I've been seeing her for a year. I'm going to get her a Mother's Day card because she has a daughter. Get her a Mother's Day card. And as Dawn knows, everything went downhill within less than 2 weeks. We weren't even talking anymore.
Incredible.
I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm just not sure where things are going. I'm not sure where my head is. And then I didn't hear from her anymore.
Unbelievable. And here's the thing. Katie really liked you. Took you to a Pittsburgh Steelers preseason game type this girl, I don't want to say she treated you very, very well. But as soon as you showed even a little bit of affection, you know what? I'm just going to be thoughtful and let her know, hey, happy Mother's Day. And that changed everything. Incredible.
It sure did. But yeah, I just had one question for you before I jump
sure.
off.
What you got?
As far as I guess now, my situation, dating casually and everything like that. But, I think I've asked you before about, I am getting to that point because I'm, 47 like yourself.
Yep.
And, I've been divorced 10 years, dating 10 years. But now I am starting to look at, maybe wanting to, have a relationship. But I'm not sure about monogamy because I tried it. I failed.
Right.
At it. Asking you, how did you go from that? Like you said, hiding your player phase and everything like that, to deciding, that Devin was the one, and you decided, like you said so far, to be on the monogamy tip with that. Just wondering, how did you make that transition? And how do you keep, staying with the monogamy part, whereas that's where I struggle.
Yep. So I'll tell you this, what made me give up, I guess you're asking me, what about Devin made me want to give up my player card? Timing, as they say, is everything, I've been in relationships with girls, and I think to myself, man, if I had met her 5 years from now or 5 years ago, things would be very different. I happened to meet Devin during a transitional period in my life. I had just gotten off. I was just acquitted of not acquitted, but I had just, my fourth felony did not land me in jail. So I knew I had to do something different. I couldn't keep getting into fights and things of that nature. And at that point, I'm in my late 30s. I have my black belt in women. Really, to be honest with you, Apollo, I just got it. What really made me give up the player card and settle down was just the grind of the game, man. And listen, you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You are intimately familiar with a player by the name of Ray Lewis. And I've told this story before, but the way I feel about giving up the player card is exactly the way Ray Lewis described what he feels. He says, look, and Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame linebacker, one of the greatest to ever do it. He said, as far as my salary is concerned, he's making $19 million a year. He's like, of my $19 million a year salary, he says, Sundays you get for free. Okay. He says, I will suit up and put on the pads and play on Sundays for nothing. He says, what you're paying me for are the two-a-days, the organized team activities, the training camp, the walkthrough, the weightlifting, the dieting, getting ready. I no longer, Apollo, had the fire. I no longer had the motivation necessary to be successful with women as regularly as I had been. And so I decided that's really when I sort of decided to sort of hang up the player. I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this anymore. Dude, when I was at the height of my, the peak of my player powers, I'd go to the club on a Tuesday night. Dude, I'd get sloshed, fuck some random bitch. I couldn't wait to go to the club the very next night. All of a sudden, Apollo, it just left me. I just didn't have the desire anymore. And so, not to compare myself to a professional athlete, but as you can probably imagine, being successful with girls on a regular basis is hard. It is not easy. The things you have to do to prepare yourself mentally, physically, psychologically, it is an absolute grind. And at some point, you have so much success with women that I don't want to say it gets bored to try to make myself sound better than I am, but the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze anymore. I was no longer willing to put in the work that was necessary to be successful with women. And so at that particular time, that is right when I met Devin. Is, you know, the interesting thing is, Apollo, is when I met Devin, I was still in sort of an on again, off again relationship / situationship. Dude, the girl was 22 years old, Mexican girl. Dude, long, beautiful black hair, went all the way down to her apricot-shaped ass, perfect legs. Dude, even her pubic hair was perfect. Dude, her toes were perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's when I met Devin. And the reason why I chose Devin over Chrissy is because Devin had a lot more relationship skills, and Devin was going to be an asset. I knew that she could build websites and all the rest of that stuff. And Devin also was an exemplary cook. She says in the chat, pot roast for the W. And so that's when, but if not for, I'm not going to say that Devin is the reason why I gave up the player card. I think I had probably already given it up by then. Now, there were still a few girls that I was fucking here and there, but I wasn't going out and approaching girls 6, 7, 8 hours a day like I was back in Vegas. Every once in a while, I'd spit game at a girl, and if I got her, I got her. If I didn't, I didn't. So, you know, even though I wasn't approaching girls at the rate that I was before, you know, I was still seeing a girl or two here or there, whatever, semi-regular rotation, whatever the case may be. But the reason why I gave up on, you know, living the player life is because I just got tired of the grind of game, and that is all there is to it.
Okay. Yeah, because I see myself on that, like, you know, downside where it's just like, man, I don't feel like putting in the effort as much on the dating apps,
Right.
or, you know, I'm still on there, but I'm just like, you know, if I match with somebody, okay, I'll talk to them,
Right.
but doesn't have the same feel. And it's almost like I'd rather just show up at the end instead of have to go through all the steps to get to it. That's where I'm starting to get to.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're actually starting to get to the point where approaching and all of the work that comes with maintaining a rotation and the abundance, that is it's almost becoming like work for you that you don't enjoy.
Yeah, because it's just, you know, like you said, you know, not to sound like I've just been this, you know, supreme player, but, you know,
Sure.
As you know, through my journey, I've had rotations for girls.
Yes, you have.
And those were, you know, it was fun, but it's a grind because you got to talk to them all, hang out with them, schedule times to meet, hook up, and then, you know, instantly after 2 weeks, 2 are dropping off, then one's going to drop off, and you got to replenish.
Absolutely.
And I've been, you know, divorced and dating for 10 years, so it's been a decade. And, you know, done a lot, and it's starting to get to that point where it's just like, okay, it's not as fun as it used to be.
Right. Yeah, it's and again, what it really comes down to, Apollo, is when I met Devin, she was not ready-made for a relationship. And I think that's what a lot of guys have to understand. 60, 70 years ago, when girls turned 18 years old, they were ready to be wives, right? Mothers taught them the importance of, you know, the ability to cook and clean, take care of a home, you know, be a good wife and mother. Girls clearly are not like that anymore. And so what we are tasked with doing as men, if we want to be in a relationship of consequence with a woman that we can actually trust and love, it is incumbent upon us to actually train the woman. Now, training the woman, actually, you have to recognize a woman who is trainable. Devin was clearly trainable because she told me she needed to be coached, right? So now the question becomes, well, listen, how do I know, Donovan, if I meet a woman who is ready to be trained? Listen, a girl that gives you plan A energy, in other words, you know that you're her number one, she's got the potential. But I mean, obviously a girl who shows that she can cook, a girl that has traditional values, and even then, Apollo, most of those girls are hoes too. So, you know, and listen, we don't want to be alone, right? This is why we go out and we fuck bitches, you know, whatever the case may be. But what it really comes down to is at some point you might give up the player card and not realize that you've given it up. When you start looking for something more substantive in your relationships, that's when you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's probably time to stop approaching girls, being on dating apps and things of that nature. But what it really comes down to is if you actually meet a candidate that you think could possibly be good for a long-term relationship, you're going to have to train her. And and it is not easy. It is not easy to do, but that's just sort of what we're tasked with doing these days, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Like you said, because I've met some ladies, even one I've been seeing, I told you about for a year.
Yeah.
I met her probably 2 years from now, I think would be good. But because I'm still not, because she wants monogamy,
right.
I'm there with monogamy. It's like I want the relationship, but I'd rather be open or polyamorous. I know me. I tried monogamy. I failed. Like, I've famously told you, I tell girls I couldn't keep my dick in my pants during marriage.
There you go.
And I'd rather have the option of it being there, but I choose not to do it versus forced monogamy.
Right. No, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So to answer your second question, how do I deal with being monogamous with Devin? Actually, it's actually because of Devin. Devin, dude, obviously Devin is, very, very attractive. Listen, Devin's going to be 49 this year. Dude, she's got the body, literally the body of a porn star. And the reason why I'm able to stay monogamous with Dev is because she never, ever, ever rejects me for sex. Anytime I want to have sex, it doesn't matter how she's feeling. She always, always gives it to me. That's just how it is. If she knows I'm going to Miami to do a fresh and fit, she makes sure she drains my balls 2-3 days in advance every day until I go to fresh and fit to make sure I'm not smashing other chicks. So getting a woman, and again, this is when you know a woman is trainable, right? If a woman ever closes her legs to you, there's no way that you can be monogamous to that woman. Devin never closes her legs to me, and that's really what makes it possible, is the fact that I get sex whenever I want it, however I want it. It really is a thing of beauty. So, and listen, if you're going to struggle with monogamy, fine, just when it actually comes down to it, if you meet a girl that you really, really do like and you're training her and this and that and the third, listen, the difference between a man who loves a woman and a man who doesn't is if you really love her, you will never let her find out that you're banging other chicks. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay, I got it. Well, man, I definitely, appreciate this. I'm glad, you're doing these again. I, missed those whenever you weren't able to do these kind of, face-to-face stuff. So I appreciate it the last few weeks.
Absolutely, Apollo. And listen, we'll talk next week, brother.
All right. Appreciate it, Don.
All right. Yeah, man, dude, Apollo, I live vicariously through Apollo. Okay, we've got Brian, Shane, Jay Blaze, and then Christopher Payne next in that order. Let me get to my super chat here quickly. Brandon M with a $5 super chat says, thank you for doing things like this. This is what sets you and MLD apart from the pack. Also, I'm celebrating my school making the Final Four. Oh, which one? I guess you're a Florida, Duke, or Houston. I think this might be a year where all 4 number 1 seeds are in the Final Four. Who knows? All right. So if you guys have a relationship question, #pull up. The link is pinned in the chat. Let's go to Brian. Let's go to Brian N. Brian N, where are you calling me from?
Hey, Dev, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, great. Yeah, I am calling from Atlanta, Georgia. I like your program, and I finally got up here to see you. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. How you doing?
Good stuff. So what's on your mind, Brian?
I have more of a life, not a relationship question. Do you got a minute?
Yeah, sure. What you got?
Okay, I'll be brief. Just I have to bore you just for 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm a businessman. I'm like 51 years old. You and I are both the same age.
Okay.
I became successful at 20. I went to China, did business there for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I did import-export. Right. Started off, lost a lot of money, made lots of money, did very well with it. And I also had a small school where I taught art and character design. I studied character design. I got my degree in Chinese literature.
Okay.
Now, in 2019, COVID hit. And I took a massive hit. My business failed. I lost everything like within a year.
Oh, wow.
And basically, I left the United States when I was 24, 25, a broke, going to college student.
Okay.
I came back here as a 50-year-old man, and almost 50, in the same way. And everything just went downhill from there. My parents had to, give me money to help me, get back on my feet. Yeah, and I had apartments. I had two apartments over there, and I co-owned a small house.
Okay.
And basically, I lost everything. I went to the hospital twice. I had a stroke.
Damn.
And that put me more in debt. And I'm not saying this to be a sob story.
I understand. Just give me background information. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. So I'm at this point now where I'm living here in Georgia.
Okay.
And what I want I've applied for like SSI. They give you like disability. So I've applied for SSI to keep to to basically to give me some money so I can figure out what to do. And so I'm in the process of doing that. But here's the thing. I've had all this experience in being and being successful. My life there was very different from what it is here, and I'm doing some things with business. And how can I put it? If if you do SSI, you can't make above a certain amount. And here's the funny thing. I've struggled like here, like I've been back in the States for like 2-3 years.
Okay.
And nobody would hire me. I figured with a person with my background, I have a pretty good resume, even though I haven't worked for a company. I've done my own thing. I've taught at different schools in China, English. So I have a bunch of certificates for like teaching English as a second language,
Okay.
along with my business experience. But nobody was hiring me. So I've gotten some offers now, and I'm starting to do SEOs for businesses. But in order to get SSI, you have to you can't make above a certain amount.
Yep.
And I'm starting to feel like you kind of have to dumb down your potential, at least for me. I don't know. I have some friends who get disability,
Okay.
but you kind of just have to resign yourself, like not to work, and maybe live off the state. When I feel like I could do better. And even though I had the stroke, I had a mild stroke. I'm not. Some people can't walk or their face is all messed up. I'm not like that. I still have my physical abilities intact.
Okay, Brian, I gotta cut you off there, man. What you're like, I understand. It sounds like you just need someone to talk to. I'm trying to focus on like dating and relationships, and I don't know. You're listen, respectfully, you're kind of just rambling on and on. And listen, I wanted to get some background information, but there's really nothing. I don't think there's anything that I can help you with in terms of. I don't know how the SSI stuff works. So unless you have a relationship question, I'm gonna have to put you back to the back of the line. Okay, let us go to Kirshnik. Kirshnik, you are on live with Donovan. Where are you calling me from, man?
What's up? What's up, Donovan? I'm calling you from New Orleans.
Kirshnik from New Orleans. What's the weather like down there, by the way?
Rainy. But hey, man, hey, good to talk to you. Hey,
you too, brother.
My question to you, Donovan, and I promise I won't give you a freaking dissertation speech like the last guy. My question to you is, what do you disagree with the guys who? Do you disagree with guys who just want to pay for it, like whether they're paying for escorts or getting a sugar baby? Do you disagree with that?
I would not. Listen, the way I see it is this. If you're a dude who pays for sex, I don't have a problem with guys who pay for sex. I really don't. It's not something that I would do. But if that's, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I would caution men who pay for sex. You're going to have to understand that there is a price to be paid when you're paying for sex, and the price to be paid is that you're never going to you're going to severely cripple the way you're able to attract women. Because, and listen, we all know that all relationships are transactional, right? If I didn't make the money that I made, then Devin wouldn't be with me. There are other reasons why she loves me, but by the same token, if she didn't look like she did, and if she didn't let me have sex with her every time I wanted her to, then we wouldn't be in a relationship. So listen, there's no romance without finance, and vice versa. We get that. But the reason why I always tell my guys it's not a good thing to pay for sex or buy prostitutes, hookers, ladies of the night, because it really does a number on your psyche, because at some point you really start to become jaded by women. Because at some point you begin to look at yourself and be like, dude, like I'm spending hundreds, thousands of dollars just to have sex with women, where there are other guys out there having sex with women for free without paying. And so in terms of, in terms of, like where your life is headed, where your life is directed, it's not something that I would recommend doing. But by the same token, there are some super high level guys who are millionaires and billionaires who pay for sex because they simply don't have time for courtship. They listen, it's quick, it's efficient, and you get the sex without having to deal with the headache and all the drama that comes with having sex with a woman without having to pay for it. So it's not something that I would recommend that guys do, but I no longer judge men for paying for bots anymore.
Let me ask a quick follow-up. You said that rich guys pay for it because it's efficient and quick, and they don't really have time to run game or do courtship. So in that
no, not all rich guys, but there are some high level.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm saying like the ones who do.
Gotcha.
So for those guys who are doing that, those wealthy guys, do you agree with their reasons for doing it because it's more efficient and saves time, and they're too busy with other things?
Yeah.
You agree with that approach?
Yeah.
That okay, fair enough. That's all I wanted to know.
I would understand.
Yeah, and I'll say one last comment before I leave.
Sure, man.
I know you said that, when you pay for it, it makes you more jaded. But in my experience, I mean, I've gotten negative impressions with women.
Whether you pay or not, right?
Going the non-paying route. So,
fair enough.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, but thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Thanks for calling in, Kirschnick. That's actually a pretty cool name. Yeah, listen, he brings up a good point. Listen, approaching women and not being able to have sex with them because of your lack of game, that can make you jaded. But I don't know. It really depends. It really just depends on the person, man. It really, really does. If I had a son, I wouldn't like if a buddy of mine came to me and said, "Hey, Donovan, like, should I start paying for it?" My answer would be no. There are too many. Oh my God, there are way too many. Now, like I said, there are some high level men who pay for escorts, and they have an escort in every city because it's quick and it's efficient. Okay, it works for them. But for the average man making $50,000-$60,000 a year, paying for sex is not. I don't want to say it's an exercise. I don't want to say that it is an exercise in futility, but paying for sex, guys, is really just. It's really just masturbation. That's really what it is. Masturbation, you can do masturbation for free, right? Well, if you pay to have sex, it's basically it's glorified masturbation. You don't really get as much. You don't really get as much out of it. Be tall, young, and attractive with the good Lord, man. With the $2 super chat says, "Can I skip in line if I donate?" Then of course he hit me with the $5 super chat. Appreciate it very, very much. Before I get to Shane, Gully Blanchard says, "Paying for it will give you the mindset of a trust fund, baby." Yeah, that is very, very true. King Lai says, "If you stop paying her, she will still have a negative look at you." That's exactly right. Okay, let us go to Shane. All right, Shane, you're on live with Donovan. Where are you calling me from today?
Man, I'm calling from southern Indiana. Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, northern Kentucky area.
Okay, good stuff. What's on your mind, Shane?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for what you do. Like, you and Myron and all of them over there at Fresh and Fit, man. It's completely changed my life.
Good. Like to hear that stuff, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I've only recently ran into the red pill within the past couple of months, but the impact that it's had on my life, man, it's just been tremendous.
It's great, dude. It's finding the red pill and learning this stuff. It really does get addictive at a point, man. It really, really does. So congratulations for finding this. How old are you, Shane?
Man, I just turned 30 back in November.
Perfect. Oh yeah, you found it at the perfect time. Okay, so what's your question, Shane?
Yeah. So I actually took my. I'm working on getting a sleeve right now.
Okay.
This tattoo artist, man, it was about a month ago now. I went in for my first session, and she's from Thailand.
Okay.
She's pretty, and the entire tattoo session, I don't know, last probably about 8 hours, between drawing it out and then actually getting around to it. Well, man, we hit it off real good, dude. We laughed and had a bunch of stuff in common and all that stuff. I was asking her questions, like if she had done any kind of stuff through why she'd been here, because she's only been here about a year, so there's a lot that she hasn't done.
Okay.
And that she said that she would like to do, and I kept telling her, well, go out and do some of that stuff. And she kept, giggling like, I don't want to do it alone, almost like an invite. At least that's kind of the way I was taking it.
Yeah, it sounds to me like that might actually be like a low key invitation. She's waiting for you to ask her.
It was, dude. I mean, multiple times when I said that, she was like, yeah, I just don't want, whether it was going to the movies, going camping, going traveling, whatever it was, multiple times she would say that.
Okay.
We were asking questions back and forth to each other, and whatnot. She found out that I've got a Mustang, and I've got a pretty sweet Mustang.
Nice.
And she was all about it. To skip everything else, I got her in the Mustang at the end of the night. She wanted to go for a ride, and I offered it to her, and she was all about it.
Okay.
So took her for a ride. My mind, that's a pretty good sign. I would think a girl that's not interested in me would be like, no.
Absolutely. Listen, that is a very good sign because,
right.
I mean, at that point, you guys both know presumably what it is.
Right, and I promise, man. It's a little bit of a backstory, but I promise I'm getting somewhere to it.
Listen, give me all the backstory, man. Because the more information I have, the better.
Dude, I appreciate your morning. You have no idea.
It's all good, man.
Anyway, so comes around to the next tattoo session. Actually, she had a cancellation, and she was like, "Hey, you want to come in?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll come in." Same thing, dude. We kicked it off great. We're laughing, having a good time, and the same stuff, bringing up going out and doing stuff, and she kept saying, I just don't want to do it alone.
Wow.
So I said okay. So at the end of the tattoo session, before I was leaving, we're still chit chatting back and forth and whatnot, and I kind of joked around with her a little bit. I said, because she said, with the tattoo, I can't go to the gym. I've been going to the gym. Actually, just kind of side note, I lost 110 pounds this past year. In less than a year, lost 100, or right at a year, lost 110 pounds.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Holy shit, man. What an accomplishment. God damn, that's a whole person, brother.
I feel, man. I went from 300 to, I weighed in last week at 178.
Whoa, yeah. Dude. Oh my God. Dude, that's 122 pounds, bro.
Yeah. I was like 296, 298, something like that, a couple months before I started this.
Wow. Dude, good job, man. Very good job, dude.
Just a game changer. I think, and that's part of the reason why I was even comfortable to even ask her out on a date to begin with.
There you go. Listen, Devin and I, real quick, I'm gonna let me just cut you off here. Devin and I, we watched a documentary on Netflix today about it's called Big Morphia. Basically, it's about bodybuilders who do extreme steroids and synthol and all this other kind of stuff. And the overarching message was, hey, listen, man, it's not something that I would recommend doing, but if you really want this physique, you're going to have to give something up. And I've said this for years, Shane. You change your body, you change your life. And you are 100%. Living proof of that, man.
Man, I heard it said once something like, I would give an arm and a leg to look like that guy, but no one actually wants to give that arm or the leg to look like that guy.
That's exactly
right.
They
want to take oh man, I've had people ask me, did you take the pill? Did you get the surgery? Man, it just makes me mad. Nobody goes about it the right way. Mine was just changing up my diet, dude. I changed my relationship with food completely.
There you go. That's all you had to do. Dude, a good friend of mine. I don't know if you're aware of who she is. Her name is Pearl Davis. She's got a really big channel on YouTube. Dude, she lost a bunch of weight. All she did was change her diet. She hasn't even she changed her, and now she's going to get into really good shape because now she's going to go diet and training. So good for you, man. All right, so sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
no, you're good.
Go ahead and catch me up to what's going on with this girl.
So yeah, I teased her a little bit. She said couldn't go to the gym, and I kept giving her a hard time about that. And so as I'm leaving, I turned around and said, "Hey," I said, since you won't let me go to the gym on Monday, this was a Saturday. She's off on. She only gets one day a week off, and it's on Mondays.
Okay.
So I turned around and said, "Hey, since you won't let me go to the gym on Monday, how about I pick you up and we go out on a date?"
There you go.
And, yeah, dude, she was all about it.
Good.
Yeah, she was. So I picked her up. I texted her. I gave her my phone. She put her number in my phone.
Okay.
And I didn't text her that Saturday. I waited till Sunday evening to text her, or Sunday afternoon to text her. And I said, "Hey, we still on for tomorrow?" And text back. She goes, smiley face and everything. Yeah, just let me know what time.
Okay.
And so 11 o'clock a.m. or whatever. So, okay, we'll see you then. And she was like, do you know what we're going to do? And I said, yeah. I said, I got something planned out. I said, but don't worry about it. All you need to worry about is showing up and having a good time.
Excellent. Very nice, Shane. That is how you do it. Very good, man. Very good.
I got a question. Can I read you I promise it's not very long.
No, do it. Let's go.
I promise there's something to it. I would like you to pay attention to her dialect because, like I said, she's Asian, so her English isn't the best, and you can tell there's some like grammatical errors there, but nothing that you can't understand.
Okay.
And it comes into play later, I promise.
Okay.
So I said, her name's Chanel. I said, hey, Chanel, it's Shane. Are we still on for tomorrow?
Shane, can't hear you. Shane, where'd you go? Damn, dude. Shane, can you hear me? Oh,
I may not be able to read you the thread because I won't be able to exit out of the app on my phone.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, where'd you go? So give me the gist of it. Give me the gist of it.
I'll give you the gist. Anyway, so she's sending smiley faces and stuff, and then talking about how she's excited throughout the text and whatnot. And I'm going to get to the date first. We go through the date. We did multiple things. I took her to the zoo. That was the big thing that we did. And then after that, we went to this little local farm.
Okay.
After that, I took her out for lunch because she was hungry. And then we did a few other things after that. And it was just a real good time. She was making her laugh, and she kind of put her hand up on me a little bit or whatever. Little signs like that, man. She just kept giving little signs. All good things. I took her to this nice romantic place out by the river, and we sat and watched the sunset for a while. And she started asking me about my previous dating life.
Ooh,
and,
okay.
Yes. Dude, it's adding up. Everything keeps adding up.
Okay.
We left there, and it's like 8:00 at night or something. And I offered, hey, if you're ready to go home, I don't want to keep you too late if you got to work tomorrow. And she didn't want to go home. She said, no, I want to keep hanging out with you.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
All right. Good.
We went out to the arcade and stuff, and had a good time. Well, she also offered to clean my tattoo for free on her own time.
Wow.
These are
all good things, brother.
She was all about it. She took me to an arts and crafts store to pick up a canvas and some art material, and she wanted to draw me a picture on her own time and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Awesome stuff. Just little subtle hints here and there that she's actually interested.
Okay.
Cool. At the end of the night, we had our tattoo convention center here in Louisville, Kentucky last week, and we had made plans to go to that before we left off for the night. And she was all about it. She goes, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it on Saturday. I'll have to leave work early on Saturday.
Okay.
And I said, okay, cool. Well, she texted me later, hey, I changed my mind to Sunday. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Monday rolls around, we didn't talk, which is fine. I'm not a huge texter anyway.
Sure.
Wednesday rolls around, dude, and she sends me this text just out of nowhere. Don't know where it came from, and this is what I'm wanting your insight on.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of conflicted on whether what she said is true or if she's being pressured by an outside source.
Okay.
Of a kind of like a conflict of interest between dating a client.
Okay.
Because when I took her to that river, she did say, because she asked me why I asked her out on a date. I said, well, if you wouldn't have said yes or whatever, I probably would have just gone to the gym. And she was like, oh, okay, that's why. I said, no, I thought you were cute, and we had a lot in common. I wanted to shoot my shot.
Okay.
But anyway, she sends me this text, and she's like, hey, in the text, the reason why I wanted you to pay attention to the dialect earlier, her grammar that was all messed up and stuff, that text that she sent, man, I am 99.9% positive it wasn't her. The format was completely different. Her language was completely different. There was no grammatical mistakes. I mean, it was too fluent. It was too structured.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if it wasn't maybe her boss or something. I don't know. Maybe she requested to leave work early to go to the tattoo convention center with me, and he found out that it was that was going on.
Right.
But in the text, she was saying stuff like, I want to maintain the professional relationship between us. I'm trying to remember how the text went, because since I can't go look at it.
Okay.
I had a really good time with you. Enjoyed getting to know you as a person, but as I was thinking about it, I don't feel a connection. I would rather keep things professional between us. And I hope this doesn't ruin our professional relationship together, as I truly value our professional relationship together, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for understanding. And I'm just like, wow, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So out of all the stuff that I told you, the I don't feel a connection part isn't what's ringing true with me. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my end. Maybe I'm just trying to deny reality. Honestly, I don't know. I'm real rational when I approach this kind of stuff, and I know females. The conflict between rationality on men and emotional stuff on women. I know that exists. I'm just trying to make sense of it all.
Okay.
I had another tattoo session today, and it didn't go anywhere. I mean, we didn't talk nearly as much. She still had that kind of friendly vibe, and
Sure.
I had that joking vibe a little bit. We didn't talk nearly as much, and it was just weird.
It ain't the same.
Wasn't the same, man.
Yeah. So just to make sure I'm understanding you correctly here. So you guys hit it off. She was giving you all of the choosing signals. You were feeling her. She was feeling you. You guys made sort of a date to go to this tattoo convention. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she says, listen, there's just not a connection, but I hope to keep a professional relationship, blah, 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 blah. And that's where we are now.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing on top of that?
Yeah.
If she would have said the whole, like in that text message, if she would have said the exact same thing, but left out, I don't feel a connection, I would have been like, okay, that's fine. I completely understand. But it's the I don't feel a connection part. I'm like, if you didn't feel a connection, you wouldn't have offered to keep hanging out the rest of the night, at least in my mind.
No, that makes perfect sense. Let me just ask you a few background questions. So this girl obviously has an accent. How long has she been in America?
She's like right at a year, man, give or take.
Okay, and how old is she?
32.
So she's 30,
2 years older.
Okay, 30. Yep. Okay, so you're 30, she's 32, and you said she's a tattoo artist, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. A couple of things. Could have been happening here. Number one, she might have already been in a relationship, but I don't think so. But number two, and I think that's probably more likely, is she just met someone she likes better than you. Because
that's kind of what I'm wondering.
That's what it comes down to. Because women, there are all sorts of policies that women have. I don't date clients. I don't date students. I don't date classmates. No, listen, girls date who they want to date. Okay?
Who they want, exactly.
They date who they want to date. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are, even if it's quote unquote forbidden. If she liked you enough, then she would absolutely date you. The only reason why a woman would do a complete 180 and just say, hey, there wasn't a connection, is because she probably met someone that she likes better than you. And so when she met someone that she liked better than you, she didn't want to potentially lose you as a client. So she says, listen, I hope that we can maintain our professional relationship, et cetera, et cetera. She didn't want you to get into your feelings and say, well, fuck you. If we're not going to be fucking, then I don't want you to do my tattoo. But yeah, I understand why you are a little bit confused, because based on what you told me, it really does sound like she really did like you, like genuinely liked you. She was going to draw you a picture. She was investing her time. She was going to do something for you sort of off the books. And then all of a sudden she just kind of just does this 180. The only thing that I can think of is that she probably just met someone she likes better than you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the fear behind it. But as guys, I don't know. I feel like we try to find every other reason other than something that we don't, or other than something we don't like.
Yeah. Listen, if a girl likes you enough, she'll date you. That's just all there is to it, Shane. And you have to understand it. She's probably a good looking woman too. Am I right?
Yeah. She's pretty, man.
Yeah, dude, she's a good looking woman. She's from Thailand, and she's a tattoo artist, right? And listen, guys who get tattoos, there are a lot of attractive guys who get tattoos, and you probably also have to resolve in your mind that you might not be the only guy that she has rapport with. Listen, she's pretty and she does tattoos. I'm sure she gets hit on a lot. But also, and I'm not saying that this is what she did, but you also might want to think of it this way. There are women who use their jobs. They use their sexuality to land clients. Like I've had
100%. Hooters.
There you go. Right. I've had consultation clients in the past tell me that, yeah, you know what? I swiped right on this girl on Tinder. Everything was good. But then when we got there, she wanted me to join her OnlyFans. There was one guy, it's actually a really good friend of mine, who was interested in this woman. She had never shown him interest. And all of a sudden she says, hey, let's go out on a date. And my friend was like, oh, okay. I guess she finally came around. Come to find out, she wanted to pitch him some pyramid scheme, right? And she told him before the date. And so I said, okay, if you want to know if she really likes you or not, Tell her that you're not interested in the pyramid scheme stuff and see if she keeps the date. Sure enough, he says, look, I'm not interested in that. I just wanted to I wanted to go on the date to get to know you. Then, of course, after he told her that, all of a sudden excuses come up. Well, I don't think I'll have time, blah, 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 blah. Women will use their sexuality to make money, and it isn't always with OnlyFans. They might use it to keep a tattoo client, because you're in there, you're in there for 8 hours a day, when you're going in there, and you're probably dropping a lot of money. I think that there listen, it sounds like there was some serious interest, but again, and I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad.
No, but I'm glad you're shooting straight with me for real.
Yeah. I mean, this might have been the plan from the start. And if it was the plan from that to me sounds like a lot of trouble to go to that seems very, very elaborate in terms of, I like your Mustang, and I want to do stuff around here, but I don't want to go myself, blah, 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 blah. This might be the way that she gets and retains male clients.
Right.
That might be what it is. And listen, she's pretty, she's Thai, she's not from around here, so she probably trades on that too. I promise you, she probably knows, okay, American guys are used to American girls being flaky, blah, 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 blah. So all I've got to do is turn on the charm, and the fact that I've only been here for a year, quote unquote, really sort of, really sort of adds to the allure. I'm not westernized, blah, 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 blah. And she trades on that.
Right. He has a lot of almost, if that's true, it seems like a lot of deceit there or on her end, but I guess that's women's nature though. But
it is women's nature. And I'm not going to tell you that was her plan from the start, but that is certainly a possibility. But I think the more likely scenario here, Shane, is that she really did like you. But again, she's a tattoo artist and she's pretty. So she's having conversations with these people all the time. You're probably not the only guy that she was talking to. Honestly, she might have gone out on dates with 3 other guys that week, and she decided, you know what? I like Shane, but not enough. So I'm going to stay with Mike, and I'm going to drop Shane and Todd and do it like that. So yeah, anytime a girl just does a complete 180, you can almost guarantee it is because she found somebody she likes better than you. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but it happens.
Right. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Like I said, that was definitely in the back of my mind, but I was wondering other things too. Is there a chance that she is being honest about it, or is she someone else to write that text?
No. Listen. There is and I'm actually seeing in the chat she might have used a translator.
Someone else told me that too, that she might have used a translator too.
Yeah. And the reason why she wanted to use that translator was to make sure that she clearly conveyed the message, hey, I'm not interested, there was no connection, blah, 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 blah. But again, what women say and what they mean are often two very different things. It sounded like you guys did have a connection, but when she tells you, I just didn't feel a connection, to me, that's code for I found someone else better than you. Now, here's what I would advise you to do. If you want to find out if she's telling the truth about her doing this complete 180, try to drop subtle hints about what you're doing. Like the next time you're doing you're getting a tattoo done. Be like, hey, you know what? I consider you to be a friend. Let me get your quick opinion on something. I've got a couple of girls who I'm going out on a couple of dates this week. I want you to give me your honest opinion on this. Just make anything up. Just make anything up. As a matter of fact, dude, just get a picture. Be like, hey, what do you think? What do you think of this girl? Like, do you think that this girl is pretty? Yes or no? Blah, 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 blah. At that point, you will find out whether or not she really likes you. Because if she really likes you, then she's going to be a little bit standoffish. And at that point, obviously the pre-selection and the jealousy thing comes in. But if she was telling the truth, she will give you her honest opinion. She'll be, oh yeah, I like this one better, and you should date her, and blah 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 blah. So that's what I would do. Okay. I don't want to say manufacturing pre-selection, but just make up a story. Be like, hey, listen, it doesn't even have to be a couple. It doesn't even have to be 2 girls, Shane. You can be like, hey, look, check this out. So I was on, I matched with this girl on this dating app, whatever the case may be. And dude, you can do anything with Photoshop or whatever the case may be. Look, I matched with this girl, on Tinder, and I've got sort of a something about her is not quite right. Read her bio here. Is anything off? Should I flake on her? Should I tell her I'm not interested? What do you think? Just based on what I've told you. And you will very, very quickly find out if she really, really does like you or not.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Cool, brother.
But other than that, I would definitely don't actively try to get her back. Okay. You're just going to have to just continue to be yourself. And honestly, if and she says, I hope that this doesn't hurt our professional relationship. Translation, I hope I don't lose you as a client.
As a client.
Yeah.
Right. When she said it, because I truly value you as a client, I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. I'm paying, I've already paid you well over $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Of course you value me as a client, right?
Right. That was my initial thoughts.
But yeah, that's what I would do. And here's the thing, dude, don't let these women low-key shame you into sticking with them. If you're feeling some type of way that you guys had a vibe and then she just did a 180, if you don't feel like getting any ink from her anymore, then fucking don't. There's nothing that prohibits you from seeking, from going to another tattoo, to a tattoo parlor. And if I were you, I mean, I don't know how good she is, but I mean, can you get from another tattoo artist that you couldn't get from her?
No, probably not. I mean, I did this. Like I said, this is a full sleeve, so it's a tribal sleeve, and I've wanted one for well over a decade. And I told myself if I get below 200 pounds, I was going to do it. So I did. Needless to say, I did my research on local tattoo artists, and she was by far the best that I had come across.
Okay, all right.
So that was kind of why I went that route.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess my next thing, I like 100%. I like what you just said and everything, but so then. You wouldn't, after the tattoo is actually done, maybe wait a week or two and send some sort of text, hey, I'm no longer a client, if you'd still be interested in, or I was wondering if you were interested in doing one of those things that you said you didn't want to do alone, whatever it may be, or pursue something more romantically. If not, that's fine, no pressure. Just let me know. You have my phone number, blah, 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 blah. Is that something you would do, or
no,
no?
Just leave it be. Just leave it be.
Okay.
Your last and only shot at quote unquote getting her back is the pre-selection trick. Hey, I'm going out on a date with this girl. Tell me what you think. Or actually tell her, hey, look, I've been seeing this girl for, a couple of days. Dude, just make anything up. Look, there's this girl that I'm seeing, and I really like her. She looks good. You can even take any picture off the internet, blah, 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 blah. But she said X, Y, Z, and ABC. And, as a woman, I just wanted to sort of get your opinion on that. You'll very, very quickly find out whether or not she really liked you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's what I would do.
Donovan, brother, I appreciate you guys more than you know. Really.
Absolutely, Shane. Listen, call back in anytime, brother.
I will, man. I'm going to keep listening to the live stream, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And like I said, I really do appreciate everything. So.
Absolutely, man. Keep us posted, brother. That is Shane in Kentucky. Yeah, listen, man. A lot of times, man, girls and guys, I've been in these situations. Many, many times where where a girl, you think the girl likes you, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she does a complete 180. And dude, I'm telling you guys, 9.5 times out of 10, it's simply because she found somebody that she likes better than you. That's all there is to it. All right, let's bring up Jay Blaze. What's going on, Blaze? How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, about the first one, like, dude, women are like begging for any story to tell besides met him on Tinder or met him on Hinge.
Yep.
And if you separate yourself with picking them up, but dude, women like you're so used to the bitch shields that if you have a receptive woman, you're looking at her like funny, just going, what is this?
Right. Like does she actually like me?
I told you about the girl from Vegas, and I'm just like, dude, you thanked me, and it's just so odd. And dude, that's the thing about the Piers Morgan debate with Andrew Wilson. Like, Piers Morgan has no idea. Like, women are just giving off like complete bitch shield energies.
Oh, all the time, dude.
And you're going
all the time.
all the time, and guys are just going, dude, women just don't like us.
Yeah. No, dude, I totally agree. But now, piggybacking off what you just said with the first guy, and I've already forgotten his name. Yeah, dude, these bitches out here are begging for another story, begging for a story other than I met him on Hinge or Bumble or on Tinder. And if you're the guy who just straight up asked her, hey, you seem cool, put your number in, we'll hang out. Dude, I'm telling you, man, listen, whether she likes you or not, that will make an impression on her.
And remember, women are not independent thinkers.
No.
You have to think about what they're saying to their friends. If you came at it differently, said something completely different than every other guy, and she's talking about your friends, if you get any concrete validation from her friends,
Yep.
dude, she's gonna think way different
That's right.
of you. And we see it on the dating shows all the time, where
All the time.
if those friends are giving you fuck me eyes, dude, you're
in there. You are in there.
Yeah, completely in.
Dude, unbelievable, man.
It's wild. And I will say, I watched Overworking Man.
Oh, how was that?
It could have been better.
Okay.
It was good. It was good.
All right.
But I think the director made some choices where, because the original story it's based off, I guess that is way grittier.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it's basically Taken, but the guy's like a concrete worker who's ex special forces.
Fucking awesome, dude.
yeah. But they made all the films like Russian, like the cliches of Russian mobsters.
Dude, Liam Neeson, absolutely. Eastern Promises, all that stuff. Yeah.
I wish they had like pulled back on that. And the woman, that gets like kidnapped, she had a lot of like strong woman scenes that kind of took you out of it. You're just going,
of course.
This woman has been kidnapped. She's 19. She would not be doing these strong woman vibes. And I was like, what is this? It takes you out of it. You're going,
they always do it. They always got to put it in there, man.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. But right now we're doing Love is Blind Sweden.
Okay.
And dude, there's a guy from that you think he's a good chiseled guy that's like 40, but dude, he left a job for a year sabbatical. He talks like a woman. He's completely like bitch babbled.
Oh my
and
God.
He brought his own like crystal.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God. Dude.
And dude, he is like singing sweet lullabies to this one woman who's completely mid. And you're going, I need this man on this show. I need him on this show.
Oh my God.
Because dude, it is weird. Like, dude, it is going all over the place. Like the feminism message is like screwing up.
Oh
like,
yeah,
everything.
And Sweden is definitely a feminist stronghold.
Oh yeah.
It is absolutely a feminist stronghold.
Yeah, it's even like going into the we saw earlier with Middle East and dude, Spain, dude, it's going to be global. And dude, like I don't think like the Piers Morgan guys or anything, they have no idea.
No,
dude, Piers is like 60.
Yeah,
and he
didn't know anything.
He's been out of the scene for a while, and you're going, this is wild. But hey, it was good talking to you.
Yeah,
and,
man. Looking forward to our pre-draft podcast, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be a wild one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right,
look forward to it.
Jay Blaze in the house. Appreciate that. Okay, so I've got let's see. I got Chris Payne, followed by Ten Sworn, and then Conway Jug, and then Colonels. I think has been in there. I think Colonels was probably before Jug. Let me go to Chris Payne. Let me go to Chris Payne first. Chris, you're on live with Donovan. Where are you calling me from today?
Hey, how you doing today, Donovan? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, brother. Walter.
I actually called in last week. Thank you for that solid advice. I have a different question today.
Okay, what you got?
So it's more of a relationship dynamic question.
Okay.
So my question is, I watched a lot of the Red Pill content, did a lot of Red Pill research, and I watched a lot of you, Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, and all of those people, and the number one message I hear them say is, put yourself first.
Right.
Don't show too much intent early on.
Right.
And when I find out that when you actually like start dealing with women in real life and you start dating a girl on the first, second date, that is a lot easier said than done.
Yes, it is. It is a lot easier said than done, but it's still got to be done though.
Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done because, like, I'll admit, there have been times when I've caved. I went back, to my simpish ways because, I found the girl super attractive, and I felt my feelings started to override my logic, and I started buying flowers on the first day. I started doing things that I was advised not to do, because in my mind I thought that I couldn't help it. And I watched a sit-down interview that you did with Just Pearly Things at MTR.
Yeah.
And you did like a backstory about like how about how like you moved in relationships with your exes, about how like she clearly showed you that she wasn't deserving of your efforts that you were putting in, but you
Right.
ended up doing it anyway.
Right.
So my question is, how do you kind of follow like this advice that you've heard and kind of stay stoic and ignore those like and kind of not show too much intent when those simpish ways are start to tempt in as you start to know a girl more and more?
So give me an example, because clearly, I guess you've been through something like this recently, or is this just hypothetical that you're asking?
I would say, I would, I would say yes, and I've dealt with it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Not-
what?
not-
So give me an example. Give me one of the examples where you thought you messed up, where you showed too much intent and it went sideways.
I would say I've been seeing a woman like off and on. We kind of it's to the point to where like we get cut off, we don't speak, then we see each other again, and then I find that I ended up like always like texting her
Mhm.
when she's already read my text, and I ended up
So she's
calling
leaving
her.
you unread.
Yeah, leaving me on red, and she ends up responding like an hour or two later.
Yeah.
And like after we just went on a date and everything, and
Yeah.
everything seemed to be going fine,
Mhm.
and then she seems to be kind of pulling back on her end,
Mhm.
and because we had a successful date and a successful interaction, my feelings start to get warped up in my mind. I'm thinking everything's going well, so I'm going to call, and I know that I shouldn't. I just want your advice on like how to like really not do that.
Yeah, it's so what you're looking for is the discipline. And this girl that you had gone on these dates with, like, are you fucking her on these dates, or are you guys just going as friends?
We've just been talking.
Okay, so you haven't had sex with her yet?
No.
Yeah, she doesn't like you, Chris. She doesn't like you. If a girl, and what you have to understand is there is a big difference. And a lot of guys ask this question: how do I know if she really likes me? Okay. My answer is if you have to ask that question, then she doesn't like you. When a girl likes you, she will show it. Okay. She will give you plan A energy. She will return your texts. Okay. She responds immediately. She'll want to do things. She'll want to do things for you. And so my advice to you in terms of, having the discipline not to send that text or not to call her, you're going to have to distract yourself with something. Take up a hobby, watch TV, watch Netflix, go lift weights, do something. Here's another way is you got to be talking to more than one girl. The way to do this is is having abundance, right? Now, not every guy, not every man can have abundance, right? But if you really want to, if you're asking me what my advice is in terms of how to stay disciplined and not talk to or not call this girl or these girls, you're gonna have to find something else to do, man. Because if you're sitting around waiting for her, if you're sitting around looking at her phone, whatever the case may be, that's what makes it much more difficult. You have to make yourself busy. You have to distract yourself. Lift weights, ride a bike, shoot guns, whatever the case may be. You've got to have hobbies, okay? You have to have hobbies, and AMS says this all the time. You have to have a purpose, because what it sounds to me, obviously you like this girl a lot more than she likes you. And at this point, she's just using you for dates. She's using you for dates and validation. How long have you been seeing this girl?
It's been a few months, and then there was a time when like she kind of left me on red, and when she like flicked on a date once, and then like she texted me like afterwards, and then I left it on red, for like 3 days. I didn't respond to her, and then she sent me a text, saying, pretending like nothing ever happened. She was like, "Hey, did I do something to you that I'm unaware of?"
Yeah, right. She knows.
Knowing damn well why I didn't respond.
Right.
So
yeah, leave her alone. A girl who flakes on you does not respect you. A girl, if a girl flakes on you but you still give her that attention, you will never have her respect, ever. And this is interesting. I'll tell you one. I'll actually tell you a story. So there's this one girl at work that I had just met her. And we'd been working at the same place for a while, and so we had started talking, right? So I number closed her. I set up the date, blah 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 blah. Well, I think it was like Tuesday. Like we were supposed to go see the movies. We were supposed to go to the movies like on a Friday or Saturday. And I remember she told me, she says it was Tuesday or Wednesday. She's like, "Hey, I think I'm going to be sick on Friday." And I knew it was absolute 100% bullshit. And so I said, "Okay." I said, "No problem." I said that's fine. I said, I'm going to the movies with or without you, but hey, if you can't make it, you can't make it." Right? The very same day, she's like, "No, you know what? I think I can rally. Ended up going to the movies with her, fucked her that night, and we were fuck buddies for the next 6 months. You have to, and she tried to preemptively flake on me, and I think it was sort of like a low-level shit test, like how hard would this guy try? I just let her know, listen, I'm going to the movies. Like the reason why I asked you to the movies is because I'm going anyway, right? I'm not going to the movies because of you, okay? You're coming to the movies because of me. I let her know that my plans don't change whether you decide to show up or not. And so when a girl flakes on a date like that and then she texts you and, did I do something wrong? She's playing fucking games with you, Chris. She doesn't like you, nor does she respect you. And you're never going to fuck this girl. Ever.
Yeah, well, that's a hard pill to swallow, but
it is.
Thanks for giving it to me straight.
Yeah, and listen, it sucks, but like I was telling the first caller, you got to go through an ego death. You really do have to go through an ego death because, dude, I've taken some L's that have really punctured my ego. Dude, it takes a while, to know that it like the last caller, Shane in Kentucky. The tattoo artist, she just found a dude that she likes better. This is just how it is, man. And it sucks to have to deal with. It is a tough pill to swallow. But, you don't want this to keep happening. But at some point, you really just kind of have to take your ego out of it. Most of the time, Chris, it's really not personal. It's not really about you. It's about the fact that she likes somebody else better than she likes you. But in this particular case, this girl never liked you in the first place. And I think it's obvious now. You've taken her out on how many dates? You've never had sex with her, yet you continue to talk to her even after she flaked on you. She doesn't respect you, nor does she like you. So if I were you, I would block her completely and move to your next target. I wouldn't waste any more time with her.
Okay. And I do have another question.
Sure.
That kind of relates to that. Do you think cold approach still works in 2025, especially how we see these videos on TikTok that go viral?
Yep.
That say, women say how women talk about how they don't want men to approach them, but on the other side we have women begging for men to approach them. So I'm trying to see is it still an effective way to have a good sex life in 2025? Do you think?
Yeah, man. No, cold approach is not dead. But what I always advise my guys to do is you have to diversify your pussy portfolio. Okay. And what I mean is this: 33% of your efforts should be done on cold approach. Another 33% should be done on dating apps. The other 33% I call activity game, right? Take a dance class, join a bowling league, take an improv class. Dude, there are so many different ways to meet women that have nothing to do with cold approach. But if you're cold approaching women, if you're running activity game, volunteering at a soup kitchen, whatever the case may be, I've done videos on this. And if you're also utilizing dating apps, always be sourcing girls, Chris, because the minute you stop sourcing girls, that's when sort of the well dries up. So the answer to your question is yes. You can have a very active, fruitful sex life here in 2025. It is very, very difficult. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But the more avenues you take to source girls, the less difficult it will be.
Okay. And would you recommend investing money in certain programs that I believe can add value?
Like what?
As far as I thought about investing in the future into Michael Sartain's program called Social Circle game and everything like that. Called Men of Action. I thought about maybe investing in that in the future or buying some of your courses in the future. What are your thoughts on that?
Before, and listen, I could tell you, hey, buy my course and this and that and the third. I would get as much free information as humanly possible. Get as much free information as humanly possible, but you have to start making progress with that free information. Now, when you hit a ceiling, when you're having a little bit of success, but you're looking for that one thing to get you over the top, that's when I would recommend investing in a program or two, something like Sartain, Sartain's, Social Circle game, things of that nature. But you also have to understand. And again, Michael Sartain is as good as it gets. But the reason why Michael Sartain's program works for him is because he's Michael. He's 40. He's my age. He looks great. He's, he's jacked. He lives in Vegas. He's got bitches around him all the time, right? And I'm not saying that what he does. I'm not saying that what he does doesn't work. But you have to understand that, and I don't know what his program is. I really don't. But in a lot of cases, and in order for these courses to work, you have to be a lot like the guy doing the course. There's nothing special about me. I'm not the best looking guy in the world, right? I'm actually a little fat right now, and I happen to be in a relationship, and I've been out of the game for years. But guys who buy my courses, read my stuff, watch my podcast, they have consistent success with women because I give you real world actionable advice. And again, love Michael Sartain, but I mean, dude, he's surrounded by fucking bikini models 24/7. It's very, you know what I mean? It's very easy to sort of say, hey, you guys can do what I do. No. I will never tell you that you can do what I do. However, when you invest in books and when you invest in my books and courses and things of that nature, maybe you'll have success, maybe you won't, but it won't be because you don't have the tools.
Oh, okay. No, because the material doesn't really guarantee you success. It just gives you like a higher chance. It just
no. Listen, there is no guarantee. There's no guarantee for success. But anybody's program, and I can say this about anybody's program, the course doesn't work unless you do. Okay, like I could write a book on how to. I could read a book on how to drive a stick. Until I get into a car and actually, do some trial and error, I'm not going to learn how to drive a stick. Like you might know everything phonetically and the clutch and this and that and the other, but unless you're actually in the car, Chris, you have to go out there and you got to talk to women. That's really what it comes down to, man. So if you're going to buy a course, you're going to have to utilize there is no cheat code when it comes to women, okay? There is no cheat code. So if you're going to invest in a course, you better be invested all the way and do exactly what that course recommends. It's not, okay, if I read this course, if I watch these videos, I'm going to be a womanizer. No, you still got to put in the work.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It doesn't work until you work.
There you go.
Okay, and this is my last question. Not to take up like too much of your time, because I know you probably have other callers on the line.
Yeah, you're good.
But personally, like, what made you make the decision to kind of slow down and be like a one woman man? Like the woman in your relationship now, like, I'm not sure if you like are messing with other women, but I'm pretty sure like you are like kind of only messing with her. So what made you kind of want to take a break and you come to the conclusion, okay, that's enough. I'm tired of dealing with multiple women. I think I'm just gonna sit down and chill out and deal with only this person.
Yeah, to answer your first question, if I was fucking other girls, I'm certainly not going to let my wife find out about it. Number one. Number two, it's what I told Apollo when it was no longer worth it for me. When I didn't have the desire to go out and approach girls, when I no longer had the desire to put in the work necessary to be the work necessary to be successful with women, that's when I decided it was time for me to hang it up. Now, I was going to be perfectly fine just being single, you know what I mean? Like, Devin had nothing to do with me hanging up my player card. She just happened to be there. She was in the right place at the right time during a transitional period in my life. But the reason why I decided to stop being a player is because the juice was no longer worth the squeeze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reward wasn't really that worth it anymore.
Yep, it just wasn't. It wasn't worth it anymore. And dude, and again, I have had massive success with women. And I'll tell you something else too, Chris. Before I let you go here, if I can freely admit that if I had not spent the better part of 4 years just chasing ass, I would probably be retired by now. So listen, all the success I had with women, it was a magic carpet ride. It was absolutely wonderful, but in hindsight, it was the time and the money that I put into it was not worth it. It just was not worth it financially and time-wise. And to be honest with you, that's really what, I mean, honestly, me trying to monetize my knowledge with these courses and everything, that's just me trying to break even. Like all of the money that I spent, yeah, like I'm trying to recoup that in sort of selling my knowledge. That's not to discourage you from going out and trying to attract women, but there is going to come a point when you are successful at something for long enough. At some point, you just don't have the desire to put in the work necessary to be successful anymore, and that's what happened with me.
Okay. Thank you so much for all that info, Donovan, and I wish you much more success in the future.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Chris. Call back anytime. Yeah, man. Yeah. When it becomes when it's no longer worth it, when the juice is no longer worth the squeeze, that's when it's time to hang it up. Shane Ingle with the $20 super chat says, thank you for taking my call, Donovan. Appreciate you more than you know, brother. Absolutely. Appreciate that very much. Panda Trucker with the $5 super chat says, if a girl likes you, her ankles will be behind her head.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, looks like we've got a troll in here. Russell Houston says, exactly. Donovan cannot squeeze the juice anymore. LOL. Apparently, Russell Horton. Movie is the worst destination to invite a woman. So apparently, Russell Houston is a womanizer. So I'll tell you what, Russell, you seem to have a lot to say. So fuck you. I'm gonna ban you. And guess what? Russell? I'll tell you what I'll do, Russell. Why don't you hashtag pull up? You seem to want to talk a lot of shit, right? You seem to want to talk a lot of shit. Russell, if you think you know more than me, come on up and we'll talk about it. Since obviously you're King Dingaling, okay? You're King Dingaling. You don't need to be in here. I'm better than you. Donovan can't do this. Donovan can't do that. That's cool. We all have opinions, right? Put your face to it. Nigga. Go ahead and pull the fuck up. If you think you know more than me, pull up, and we can go at it like that. There we go. We can go at it like that. All right, let us bring up King Colonels. Whoa, Colonels, what is that sound? That, I cannot have you up with that sound. I have no idea what the hell that is. Yeah, King Colonels, you got to do something about that background sound, brah. You got to do something about that background sound. Okay, Ten Sworn. Ten Sworn is up next. Ten Sworn, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
How's it going, Donovan? So I called last week. I'm from New York.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you. What's going on, brother?
So I have a question, but
sure.
I'll give you an update of what happened.
Okay.
My question. I'll be really quick with it.
Okay.
So I ended up it was kind of hard to just outwardly block her, but I blocked her right after the live.
Good.
And before I blocked her, we had a little argument, right? Because I wanted to know, because I considered what you were telling me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was getting a bunch of different responses. But I'm like, okay, you're doing all this for a guy you don't find attractive. Why is this? And when I was arguing, she would give me the excuses. One time she told me, "Oh, if we're 28 and we don't find someone, let's get married." And I'm like, "Okay, you said that to me." And then she says, "Oh, I was just joking." And I'm like, it's just that type of thing. I'm like, okay, this is kind of I got no time for this. If I was to confront her, she'll never give me the real reason. So I kind of just blocked her. And then right after I blocked her, she went on TikTok and pretty much just posted a bunch of TikToks.
And how do you know that she posted a bunch of TikToks after you blocked her?
Because, I blocked her phone number, but I didn't block her TikTok yet. So I just went there.
Yeah.
Just because I just, was curious. And then I'm like, oh, wow, interesting. So, this ties to my question because I just wanted to know, where do I find, because I'm about to graduate with a good degree and I'm running my own business. So I'm going to make a lot of money soon. So I just want to know, where do you find at least decent quality women so where you can actually play the game? Because the issue that I have is throughout my life I just didn't know where to find decent quality women. I thought okay, college might be, when I was 16 and naive, I thought college might be a decent place because I'm thinking okay, the women, they're trying to focus on their goals, so I think okay, college women might be better, but here I am.
Right.
They're even worse than the girls in high school, surprisingly. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if you could make a video on this or discuss it, but where do you find at least the places where quality women are? Because what I know is that women of quality, they're usually already taken or you don't even know where they are. So what would you say on that? Yeah,
you're not going to find a quality woman in America. You're not going to find a quality woman in the West, Ten Sworn. You're just not going to. And I tell guys all the time, I got lucky with Devin. I got lucky. And here's another thing I'll tell you. I met Devin when she was 39 years old. Okay. Had I met her when she was 29, she probably would not have taken to the training that I gave her. The reason why she took to the training is because she was 39. She was already out of time. She was already out of time. I tell people this all the time. If I met Devin when she was 25 years old, I probably would not be with her, right? no amount, you have to understand, no amount of game is going to keep attractive women kept. So Trini32 put it in the chat. Get a passport, dude, because you are not there. There is not a place. There are regions, I suppose, where women are closer to traditional values. The Midwest, I've heard, is pretty good. The Southeast, pockets of the Southeast. But even now, Ten Sworn, even now, most girls are going to be hoes. So if you really are looking for a woman, if you're looking for a woman, you are not that you don't have to train to be a good woman. If you're looking for women of potential quality, you are simply not going to find them here in the Western Hemisphere. You're just not going to.
Because my mind, so when I was like talking to a girl, I was like, okay, all these girls are pretty much hoes, so I might as well just get the one that's like at least safe. But she kind of proved that she was like, like other women, because this girl was like she liked hood rats and like all that type of stuff. I'm like, I didn't know that until like after she kind of played me. So, my question about the passport thing, like, I see it's a good idea, but my question is this, right? Because in this space, we're kind of like, not for marriage, like at least not signing a contract.
Sure.
So I'm still young. I don't really know this as well as you do, but if you were to take a woman out from a different country and bring her back to America, wouldn't you have to like marry her to make her a citizen? Like, I don't know how that process works, but
if you never, and I mean never ever, bring a woman from overseas and bring her to America, that is the biggest mistake you will make. If you, and again, this is where you have to, you're coming to a point in your life where you're gonna have to start making some choices, some very difficult choices. If you really want a quality woman that you do not have to train in order to be a good girlfriend, wife, mother, whatever the case may be, you're gonna have to find her overseas. But guess what, Ten Sworn, you're gonna have to stay over there, because if you bring a woman from overseas, you bring a woman from anywhere, it takes very little time for them to become Americanized. There are countless stories of men going to Russia. They find a girl in Ukraine or Estonia or Brazil or whatever the case may be, the Caribbean, Thailand, the Philippines. They bring her back to America, and they end up acting worse than the American women because they wield even more power, right? American culture, Western culture will absolutely corrupt women if you bring them over here.
No, I agree with you 100% because, I know women like that, like, especially in this college, like I know some transfer students from like different countries.
Yep.
They'll be all feminine and then
they
kind of get used to the culture.
Yep.
Even my mom too, like she came from a different country. Like she still has her morals and everything, but she became like a career woman.
Yep.
Like, not the bad side, but just she's like really into her career.
Sure.
But, like I just wanted to know because nowadays how I see it, like the choices are like kind of like terrible. Like I'm just saying, okay, if the average woman is like this in the college, like outside of here, it can't be better because either you find a girl that is a hoe, but she's kind of savable, but like it's just kind of hard because she had all this like terrible past and like. But if you get a girl outside the country, to bring her back would be a bad idea.
It is a huge mistake. It is always a huge mistake. And here's another reason why it's a huge mistake. Because American women don't like foreign women coming in here. And so they will literally, purposefully, actively sabotage your relationship with that woman.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
My mom, bro, I'm telling you, that stuff affected my mom because when she came here, she didn't get the terrible, like super bad, but it's like she came here, she used to, worked around black women and stuff, and like she ended up cutting her hair. And it's like,
God.
I'm like in her country, bro, they would not like that. So
no, of course not.
I'm just trying to figure out like, cause the options right now, cause with the money I'm about to make, like I'm just thinking, okay, if I want to settle down like my older times, like what am I gonna do? Because
let me ask you this: is the degree that you have or will you be able to work remotely?
Yeah, I'm getting a computer science degree. So,
dude, bro, yeah, you're gonna have to move out of the West. That's the only way, my friend. That's the only way. You're going to have and again, not every man is looking for a wife and kids, but most men are. Most men want to pass on their genes. Most men want companionship. Like listen, man, we want women. Women, enhance the right woman will enhance our lives. But you're going to have to understand, if you want a relationship of consequence with a woman who will love and respect you, you are not, listen, Are there quality women in the United States? Absolutely. Okay. But most of them are already taken. That's just how it is. Now, you go one step further. Are there quality women in the United States that aren't taken yet? Absolutely. But dude, it's literally like finding a needle in a haystack, man. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. And even if you do find such a woman, she's probably fielding offers from 5 or 6 different men. Your best bet for a man like you who wants a companion, wife, kids, whatever the case may be, it's not going to be here. It's not going to be here in the US. It's not going to be here. It's not going to be in the US. It's not going to be in Britain, Australia, Canada. You're going to have to move out of the Western Hemisphere, Philippines, Thailand, et cetera, and you are going to have to live there. Now, fortunately for you, with the kind of money you're going to make, you'll be able to live like a king in these other countries, which will make you all the more attractive. But you're going to have to resolve in your mind that chances are you're just not going to be able to have a good relationship with a Western woman. It's just not gonna happen. Not the way things are now.
Got you. Okay, I hear you 100%. I got another question. So here's one solution that I'm thinking about, because I hear these what you're telling me. Like, if I get older, I'm probably just maybe thinking about, I don't know, going after a younger woman before she gets corrupted. And then I would say at least try to teach her that, okay, this feminism that they're trying to teach you is going to ruin you, like, in the long run. And then, I don't know. That's my last resort.
No, listen, Tensworn, I'm telling you, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Because dude, I totally understand and get it. But here's the thing. The work that it will require someone like you to do. And here's the thing. A lot of people say, okay, well, Donovan, you're telling this guy he needs to go overseas. What about you? You're in a relationship with an American woman. Absolutely. Devin was born and raised in South Florida, right? She's an American woman through and through, et cetera. I vetted her for 18 months before I ever gave her commitment. And I'm telling you, as good a woman as Devin is, even with all of the positive traits she had, getting her to this point was not easy. It is not easy even keeping her on the straight and narrow. It's easier now because we're going on 9 years of actually knowing each other and dating each other, and now we're officially married. But unless you are prepared to put in the kind of work that is necessary to train an American woman, you got to go overseas. Is it possible to train an American woman to be a good wife and mother? Absolutely, but it is incredibly difficult. It is not for the faint of heart, my friend. So listen, the thing is this, man. It's going to be hard one way or the other. Okay, moving overseas, assimilating to another culture, that's going to be tough. So which one is it? So in your mind, which do you think is going to be the tougher task? Moving overseas and assimilating to a new culture to increase the odds of getting a quality woman over there and living there, or training an American woman to actually be a decent wife and mother?
So which one is harder?
Yeah,
it's the American woman, because
there's
just so many so many influences. Like,
yep.
I even try to a few times, not just having female friends, trying to get them to kind of see the light of things.
Yeah.
And always, all the time, always go back to their same habits. It's either going to a fuckboy or just I don't know, fucking it up for themselves. It's at this point, I just thought, okay, let me just give up. Maybe if I'm really desperate, I'll go to a different country, and then I'll protect myself.
And it's not just because you go to another country doesn't mean that you're desperate. Okay. And a lot of people will try to shame you. Oh, you couldn't get an American woman, so you went to another. I'm sorry. You're not going to shame me for making my path easier. Don't call yourself desperate, man. The women here are desperate, not over there. Not over there.
Very true. Yeah, very true. And I'm going to make money, but for me, I want to at least have a kid, because you all want people want.
Yeah,
family.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're gonna have to understand that if you want to have a child with a woman who is not going to bend you over in the divorce courts, in the in the family courts, overseas is the way to go, man. Now, and again, it is possible to have a good relationship with an American woman, but and it comes down to the choice you're going to make. Which one is going to be easier for you? There's no need in doing something. There's no need in doing the harder thing just to say you did what was harder, right? I did what was tougher. I don't take any pride or credit for that, right? That it just is what it is. That's just the way the cookie crumbled. But this is a decision that you'll have to make. Is it going to be easier for me to live and assimilate into another culture, or train an American woman to be a good wife and mother?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Pretty much. I just wanted to see, okay, what were the solutions? And yeah, now that you mentioned it too, I'm thinking about it. Even if I do find a quality woman, and not a quality woman, find a woman that actually follows my lead. If I have a kid, then I have to train that kid too, because part 2 comes with the kid, because they go to school.
Yep.
They're gonna, bring, especially in New York, they kind of brainwash you to be like a Democrat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're in the bluest of blue states, part of the blue wall.
Pretty much a Democrat, until I was 20 when I found you.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I always had these views. I was pretty much I would say groomed. It's really bad here. So we even had a school meeting about, when we had a whole meeting about that.
Yeah.
At school. I'm like, yeah, even if I do find a woman by the skin of my teeth, raising a kid, especially a daughter with, values is gonna be very
Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God, yeah.
I gotta kind of figure out what I gotta do with that. So yeah.
And I'll tell you this before I let you go here, Ten Sworn. As a man, you have to live. You need to make decisions based on probabilities rather than possibilities. Okay. Is it possible that you luck out and find a quality woman who actually isn't taken, who likes you more than all of the other guys? Absolutely, that's possible, but it is definitely not probable. Okay. So when you're thinking about the decisions that you make, think about possibilities versus probabilities and go from there.
All right, man. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. 10 Sworn in New York, calling in again. So I've got 2 more. I've got Conway Jug and then Anon in LA. Let's go to Conway first. Conway, you are on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, bro? This is Conway Jug.
Conway, what's up, brother?
Malik Chalfant, calling out of that Philadelphia.
Oh, good stuff, man. What's up, brother? What's on your mind?
So I want to keep it real quick. So I broke me and the girl that I was dating, my girlfriend, whatever. We broke up yesterday, right?
Okay.
So my whole thing is, bro, I'm 33. I'm gonna be 34 in August.
Okay.
I don't have no skills. I work manual labor jobs and shit. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm into stuff like investing in crypto, investing in gold, physical precious metals, things like that. So my thing is I was watching Kevin Samuels the other night, and he was like, bro, if you're not in the 10%, you shouldn't even think about kids, marriage, none of that. If you're not in the 10% financially, and that shit makes sense to me, because I'm like, bro, I can't just make money appear out of nowhere. I gotta go out here and work hard.
Right.
And I feel like I don't need to be in a relationship right now because it's not time for it.
Sure.
I used to think that, when I'm 30, I'm gonna have a house and kids and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, I don't have none of that shit. I'm just still a regular nigga.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my thing is I know that it gets greater later from listening to people like you and Tate and Kevin Samuels.
Absolutely.
And Byron right. So I'm like, all right, I just got to get to they say it gets better at 40. So I'm like, all right, once I, get to that level, I'll have everything that I need, and everything will come when it's supposed to come. And I just feel like I don't want to keep getting in relationships. I was in a 9-year relationship before me and her was together, and we lived together for 5 years. And I just got my own apartment with my bro. So it's just me and him, no women, you know what I'm saying? Unless we have somebody come over or whatever. But
sure.
I feel like I'm just getting to the point where I'm I need to start making things happen for myself, because I fucked my entire 20s off. Just partying and having fun and running around and shit.
Yeah.
I didn't have goals and shit. So
right.
I'm I feel like I'm there now with trying to make sure that I set myself up for success. But I just don't feel like I need to be running around, going on dates. Dates cost money, bro.
Hell
I'm not
yes.
I'm not frugal or nothing like that, and I like nice shit, bro. Like I pop champagne and I go to fucking Capitol Grill,
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying, like, bro, like,
Hell yeah.
like, you know what I mean, like Fogo and shit like that.
Hell
bro. Like,
yeah, hell yeah.
houses and shit, bro. Like I'm not never on no frugal shit because if I got the bread, I'm gonna get it if I want it and I can afford it.
Sure.
But I just feel like I need to make smarter moves as a young man who's transitioning into his late 30s, early 40s, like taking my health serious, going to the gym, making sure that I'm like, I just feel like I need all of my time for me right now.
Yep.
So if I work 5 days a week throwing trash behind a trash truck, if I want to smoke weed for 2 days and go to sleep, I deserve to do that. It shouldn't be like, oh, is you coming over to see me or is we gonna go do this? It's like, bro, I don't got time for none of that shit right now. Now is not the time for that shit. Like I used to think I was on the lion path. Now I think I'm more on the tiger path.
Okay. Yeah, it. And by the way, how old did you say you were?
I'm 33. I'll be 34 in August.
Dude, I'll be 48 in August. But you are the mindset that you have is you're exactly where you need to be. And I know you're probably thinking, all right, I'm going to be 34 in August and I'm behind and this and that and a third. Congratulations, Conway. You are still very, very young, and you have hit the nail on the head. Now is not the time for you to be chasing ass. Okay, just like you said, you fucked off your entire 20s, so you got a little bit behind. You just came out of a relationship, a long-term relationship yesterday. Now is the time to focus on you and only you. So if I were you, maybe you're not the most frugal nigga out there, but maybe start saving a little bit of money, right? And I say this all the time. A man in this day and age in 2025 should never, ever, ever think about a long-term relationship until he is at least 35 years old and has fucked at least 35 women. That 35/35, that 35 years old and have fucked at least 35 women. Because if you fucked 35 women, you have enough failures with women to know how to not fuck up with women at that point. Just as a natural byproduct of repetition, like rinse and repeat, things of that nature. So yeah, now is the time, especially coming out of a relationship. Now is absolutely the time for you to focus on yourself. So good for you, man.
Yeah, and I just want to say one more thing, right?
Sure.
Because I know somebody else is waiting. All right, so I fucked my ex, like not my ex from like my ex from a couple years ago. Like, well, no, she was like one of my early exes, but me and her like ran into each other and we was fucking or whatever, right? So we fucked twice. But my thing is like, I feel like I hit her up and was like, yo, what's up when we going chill type shit? And then she kind of like dubbed me, right? But my thing is like, so next time she spin the block, should I just dub her and be like, no, bro, I'm cool?
Yeah.
I want it, not when you feel like you want. Because she said some shit when we was fucking last time. She was like, yeah, I always make niggas think that, you know what I'm saying? Like they in control, but I'm really in control. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
yeah, man. It was just like I was telling that other caller, man. A funny thing starts to happen when you sort of put women on the back burner. You get healthier. You're in better shape. Your mind is clear, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Take some time for you, dude. Build up, dude. Do what you should have done in your 20s, man. You should probably start stacking away cash and live in the gym. That's what I would do, because it sounds like you have enough experience with women not to get completely like ran over. But I'm glad that you have the mindset that most men don't have, thinking I need a woman in my life to complete me. No. Take this time.
I know that for a fact.
There you go.
That's not what it is. Like my thing is like this, and this is the last thing. I need to make sure that I'm able to, be the rock when the waves come crashing on the rock.
Yep.
Not like, a
go.
motherfucker who can't handle shit and be like, oh, I don't know what you want to do. It's like, no, I know what to do. I know I'm running point. You know what I'm saying? This is what we doing. I'm coaching and I'm running point. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like everything else is you just fall in them other positions. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I'm just I feel that because I'm seeing the reality of the way the economy is and just like shit costs more, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like going out on dates and spending money is just like,
it's expensive,
that's
bro.
all it is going out spending money. And I'm like,
expensive.
bro, like, I can't right now. I'm sorry.
No, I got you. Yeah. I think you've got the right mindset, Conway. Dude, leave bitches alone. If I were you, I'd leave bitches alone for at least a year. Like you're only 34 years old. You still got time. And it's just like, it's just like what Kevin Samuel says, man. Like when we hit 40, when we are in our 40s, like that is the beginning of a 15-year prime, man, physically and financially.
I'm glad to hear you reiterate that, because sometimes I just be like, bro, I feel like I'm supposed to have it all right
Yep.
now.
Nope.
Like, I feel
Nope.
like that.
You're still.
I feel like that.
You're still. No. Don't. No. And that's the world making you feel like that, right? Dude. You are a young man, dude. You are 34 years old. You are in the physical prime of your life, dude. Take advantage of your physical prime. Leave bitches alone for the time being, and you'll watch. You'll see yourself. You'll see. Not only will you see yourself improve, you'll actually start getting more attention from the opposite sex as well.
All right, bet. Thank you, Donovan. I appreciate everything you do, and fuck anybody who got anything to say bad about you, because you actually help people, no matter if it's a couple hundred people or a couple thousand or a couple million, bro. Like, I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Call back anytime, Conway. All right, Conway Jug. Appreciate that. All right, let me add Aaron in LA. Aaron in LA, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Are you able to hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, man.
All right, cool. One thing that I do appreciate you saying is to beware of the fake feminine women.
Yes.
And I think you definitely need to expound on why that's so important. So for me, I work as a maintenance tech in my building, downtown LA, luxury apartments, 2 bedrooms, about $4,200 a month, bro. So like $50,000 in rent at least, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I ran across a couple, black woman, white man, beautiful black woman, clear skin, probably a good 7.5, 8 on a good day, right?
Okay, all right.
So we have a thing called pre-move out where I have to inspect the apartment, make sure, what to charge them for it. Full paint, clean, if they destroyed any appliances or anything like that. So I go in and I tell them, like, look, you snatched the towel rack out, we have to charge you for that. You need a full paint.
Okay.
But if you clean the restroom, clean the appliances, clean the kitchen, we won't charge you for that, right?
Okay.
So we have a post move out where I have to go back and re-inspect and make sure they did whatever.
Sure.
So I did him a favor by telling him that. I didn't have to tell them that. So I guess at some point, his black woman, his fake feminine black woman, and they have a child too, mind you, and this is a white man.
Okay.
And a black woman. So I guess at some point, she got tired of cleaning up, and they stopped completely.
Oh, wow.
Stopped completely cleaning up.
Oh, boy.
And then here's the kicker, bro. Here's the kicker. This is a Thursday. I work on Saturday to, it's called a turn, when you have to get the apartment ready for the next person to move in.
Okay, gotcha.
So tell me why this bitch left on the fucking burners and the oven. Almost burnt down the whole fucking apartment, bro. She destroyed the microwave, because the microwave is right above the stove.
Oh, my God.
Destroyed the microwave. Destroyed the LED lights.
Oh, my God.
The cabinets were like melted off.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus fucking Christ.
Bro, she was soft-spoken, well-spoken,
Yup.
all feminine,
Yup.
like cold body. Cold, but she was one of the ones, man. American black woman.
There it is, man. Yeah, fake femininity,
Gotta
man.
be careful.
Yeah, you got to be, and we call that see-through, cloak the hood rat in me. I don't know if you're a patron of mine, but we just got done with the latest season of Love Is Blind. I think it was like season 8, and there was this beautiful dude, the best looking woman in that season. Her name was Virginia. She was soft-spoken. Right. She was feminine. Dude, great ass, all that stuff. She was 1,000% fake feminine. And we didn't pick up on it until we saw her at the reunion. At the reunion, it was like she was a different person. Her voice was different. Even her skin looked different. Dude, she literally did a 180. Literally did a 180. And the thing is like, a lot of guys might think, well, man, how do we know this? Here's the thing. The guy that she was going to be engaged to be married to was Devin. The guy's name was Devin. Devin didn't pick up on any of that stuff, because I can guarantee you that there were probably some signs that Virginia gave off that Devin clearly missed, because he was completely blindsided by the fact that she told him she wasn't ready. We all knew that she wasn't going to marry him, but we had no idea that she was as masculine as she turned out to be. So you really got to be careful of that stuff, man. You really do.
Yeah, going into 180s, I did have a question and then a comment after that.
Okay.
So as far as, what's your take on reinvention in a relationship, reinventing yourself as far as making more money, taking care of yourself, going to the gym, because in my experience, entering a relationship, you know how the pimp say how you start is how you
That's
finish.
right.
Entering a relationship, it seems like there's something that goes off in a woman's brain where they feel like they have to sabotage because they can't keep up all the um in my in one previous relationship I had, I stopped drinking, I started working out.
Mhm.
And my girl at the time, she was like, "Oh, you must have found somebody else. Are you doing this for another girl? Because every time I ask you to slow down drinking, you never do that. You never
Right.
work out, and you
Yeah.
just." I'm like, "Bro, no, I just want to work out. I just don't want to do this."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as far as getting a new job, I've had women try to get me fired from new jobs because I was making way more money than them, and
Yeah.
before,
Yeah, dude, you got to quit fucking with black women, man. Like,
no, they weren't black.
oh, they weren't.
One was black. I mean, one was white. One was Latino.
Wow. Okay, because like when you make changes to make yourself better, usually your woman likes those changes. But listen, you nailed it on the head. How you start is how you finish. Dude, most of my consultation clients, they want to know how to fix their relationships. Okay, and what I find, Aaron, is that the relationships are fixable. They are. But it is extremely difficult and damn near impossible, especially if the errors that you made were in the beginning and they were fundamental mistakes. There are so many things that you just cannot come back from. And so unfortunately, I actually have to coach most of my clients to understand, hey, this relationship is probably going to end because you didn't do this in the beginning. Now, every once in a while, I will get a client and they'll improve the way they dress, the way they look, et cetera, and their woman comes around and they have a better relationship. It's a different relationship, but it's a better relationship. But dude, 9.5 times out of 10, if the relationship is bad, there's almost never fixing it.
Right, because I saw I don't want to give away your content, but as far as the things that you said in the sexless relationship course,
Yeah.
I actually bought that. So I was thinking that because it wasn't sexless, but it was just like that's all we had. So
Yeah.
as far as improving myself, so because I didn't ask the person, but I looked it up, some red pill content. They were just saying, man, she's never gonna respect you. You just gotta get another bitch. If you keep on trying to change yourself, and she's still gonna see you as the bitch, or
Yep.
she's still gonna see you as a bum, or you could lose 100 pounds, she's still gonna see you as a fat guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. In most cases, that's true. The rare exception is if the woman actually loves you. When a woman and here's the thing. When a woman falls in love with you, she falls in love with you. If things start to go awry, it's because you're no longer the person that you were when you guys got together. So if you can somehow get back to what you were, then eventually she'll come back around. But just like and listen, the ebook you're talking about the ebook you're talking about is absolutely free. It is a Dead Bedroom: The Cure for a Sexless Relationship. And dude, it's guaranteed to work in that you will not be in a sexless relationship with that woman anymore. She might start to have sex with you because she really does love you, or you're going to end up moving on. But just like you said earlier, how you start is how you finish. If you are the person you were when she fell in love with you and you sort of lose your way, she'll give you the opportunity to come back around. Unfortunately, most of the time she won't let you come back around. So this is why I tell guys, before you think about a long-term relationship, you got to be at least 35 and have fucked at least 35 women, because the next woman you meet after that, at that point, you'll sort of be at the peak of your powers. Now, obviously, you always want to be improving. You always want, self-improvement, and things of that nature. But if there are some things about yourself that you still need to work on fundamentally, then put relationships on hold for a while until you get to where you're confident enough to the point to where you can have a good and fruitful relationship with a woman who will respect you.
Oh, you kind of skipped. All I heard was who.
Oh, did you hear?
There?
Can you hear me?
I didn't hear that last part.
Okay.
Who will is the last thing I heard.
Okay. Yeah. In a nutshell, what I'm basically telling you is if you have things that you need to work, if you things that you feel that you need to work on, if there are flaws about yourself, if there are things that you need to improve on, put women on hold for a while and fix yourself. You need to get to the point where you need to be, where you are confident enough to have a good, solid relationship with a woman, because you don't want to, you shouldn't do any on-the-job training with women, right? You should know exactly what the fuck you're going to do, when the fuck you're going to do it, and how the fuck you're going to do it. This on-the-job training stuff, that does not work in relationships, because those relationships almost always end disastrously. That's just how it works. So if there are things that you feel like you need to work on and fix those things before you start pursuing women again. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah, not trying to engineer something like the whole high school sweetheart. That's really
good Lord, no.
More than likely some movie shit.
Yeah, 100%.
But speaking of movies, one thing that I did want to give you, I'm pretty sure I put it in the Discord. A movie that you should check out is called Tim, Tim.
Okay.
It's about an AI robot that was a lady is working as a guinea pig she works at a technology company, right? And they're giving her this AI robot, and it starts to learn human behavior. It starts to develop like artificial emotions.
Wow.
So
okay.
Bro, definitely. I don't want to spoil it, but Preview on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Dude, Devin and I, we like that. We like sci-fi stuff like that. So I'll definitely check that out.
It's pretty good, good. And funny enough, it's a black woman and a white man.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now. It is a black. Yeah, it is a black woman. Of course, it's a black woman and a white man.
It's decent, man. You would
every
definitely
black woman's
enjoy it.
fantasy.
Definitely.
Okay, good stuff, man. Well, thanks for calling in, Aaron, and keep us updated on your progress, brother.
All right, for sure. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Aaron in LA. All right, guys, that is going to do it. That is going to do it for this, Sunday Zoom call. A lot of great calls, a lot of really, really good calls. I'm going to do this every Sunday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific time, 4:00 p.m. Pacific. And listen, the turnout's always good. The turnout is always good. So very, very much looking forward to doing it next week. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.